Ah, we're on the shock space map.
Yeah.
Aha.
Oh, see. Ooh.
Woohoo! Woohoo! Yoink. Boink.
Where is my
Go.
warp?
Whee!
There's warp ambience number uno. Where's my warp?
There, let me set myself up and check my levels and shit.
Check your levels.
Yeah, no deal.
Disgusting.
Should I not do it, Chance? I see. Well, I won't bother then, will I?
I'm just saying disgusting.
Hmm. Mm-hmm.
I
Because
Going to
that's
bed?
what you are.
You mean go to bed?
I no, I need to make myself food and also bake. But yes, very well. I need to watch videos if I am to bake.
Are we
I'm
not
going to
enough
make
to entertainment
baguettes.
for the... I
No,
see
I
how
need
it
to
is.
watch recipes.
Yes, go be
I'm
free.
not going to learn how to make baguettes from listening to this RP.
Go. Be free, be free.
Very well.
Farewell. Alright.
Alright, that should be enough music.
Should be indeed. Okay. Are we good?
Yep.
So they stay awake then.
Yep. Shock space soon comes. Things are kind of spoopy. You're getting your normal feelings of dread, and you don't know what happens to Celeste.
Okay. Alright.
Except for that she tastes color.
Kind
However, I need you to roll me a 1d100.
of course you do. Alright. 54. Straight in the middle.
54. Well, I got straight in the middle.
Yay.
Alright. Um, that pushes you up. Okay, yep, so you're still... Ooh, no, actually, you are...
Mm-hmm.
Okay, yeah. So, the dread's a little bit worse than normal, and every so often you like see movement on the edge of your vision, but there's nothing there whenever you look.
Okay. Uh-uh.
Celeste is kind of like just tapping her fingers on the ground. Well, sorry, not the ground, just tapping her fingers a bit idly.
Well, before I start doing my thing, you seeing anything that I should know about?
At the moment, no, I'm not.
Great.
Kind of feeling a bit nauseated, though.
Hold it in. We'll be out of here soon.
Hmm. If you say so. So, why did you want to do this without Rye?
Well, she ain't here, is she?
I know. Which is why I said without her. I thought this is going to be your joint thing.
It can be odd. Yeah, that probably ain't gonna be happening. Hey, okay. You got your shit on you? Or do I have to try and levitate my own shoes?
she kind of she kind of just opens up a bag and starts taking some things out and putting them on the table.
Cheers.
Why is there a falling out between you and Rye now?
Jeez, Celeste, I wonder.
I do wonder. It's why I'm asking.
It's a fucking mystery. You take your time and think about that while I try on this one, shall you?
Are you telling me that you are upset that she's going off to deal with your captain?
I'm upset, yeah. Should I not be?
I thought you didn't like your old captain in the Morgan. I thought you didn't like that part of your life. you're able to, start kind of making it float up a bit. So, you don't like that part of your life, but you're still upset by it?
What is this? You trying to psychoanalyze me?
Yes. Sure, let's go with that.
Why?
Because I can.
What if I just don't want to answer? What then?
That's your prerogative. Unlike some people, I'll stop fucking asking.
Unlike some people. Who are you digging at this time?
I'm digging at half the people on the ship that don't know when to stop.
Funny that. You didn't even know when to start.
That has a double meaning to it. Want to explain why that one was necessary? You, the trying to float up like the metal cube she brought up. It's a little bit harder. It's a little bit heavier. It's a lot more jerky when you try to float it.
Why does it have to be a double meaning, Celeste? It could just be as I said it.
Because despite the fact that you act like a ruggish, boorish individual, you have wits.
Funny you say that.
I say that because it's true.
Despite the fact that you act like a smart, cultured person, you're not really picking up the hints, are you?
I am certainly picking up a hint that you're very hostile at this moment.
Congratulations, you made it.
And I'm wondering why you're so hostile at everyone right now. Because I doubt you're doing it just to me. After all, well, the Hainers and the shuttle have working camera and audio capture devices.
You've been peeking at me.
I've been peeking at everyone that does anything aboard this ship within those delegated areas, yeah.
Stop looking. You're trying,
She's giving him a look of like, are you stupid?
Mm-hmm.
And as she says, it's my job to look at those things, Ram. I'm security.
He just ignores her.
It's your job to look at those things too. But it seems like I'm the only one that actually looks at them, because you and Hash certainly don't, unless Hash actually gets bored enough to watch the security footage.
There's nothing to see.
Normally there's not, yeah. We only have, what, 5 cameras on the ship, 6 if you include the shuttle camera, which doesn't even work because there's a piece of tape over it, so all you get's audio.
Oh, great. So you got the audio, huh?
Yes. So I know you're not just hostile towards me. Apparently there's something between you and Rye, being what's going on with the Morgan and the fucking ferrymen, as Mindy's calling them. And you also had a near altercation with Melv.
Yeah, I'm
Mind
handling
you,
that.
I don't understand why Melv got so upset over that. That seemed a little bit of an overreaction on his part.
Yeah, you think? You got a point to make
Yes.
here, Celeste.
My point is I'm chatting with you right now. Because I'm trying to get to the bottom of why you're in such a outwardly soured mood. Normally you seem to internalize all of this shit.
I don't know, maybe it's because my best friend's going enough to kill my entire family. It might have something to do with it, don't you think?
So you do still consider them family?
He just goes for another go of the cube.
Why did you try to talk her out of it then? Or did you try? She says after like an extended period of silence.
Is there a point? Even if I talk her out of it, the fucker's ferryman or whatever you want to call him.
They'd go after some other poor chaps.
It
And
doesn't.
Rye would have to have that on her conscience.
That's not it. If Ra went back out and negotiated with him, they'd just try to kill her. What kind of shit fucking piece of crap would I have to be to do that?
Clearly the one that you're not.
Clearly. He gives up and lets whatever he's holding floating in the air fall.
It clatters to the ground.
Anything strange happening around us?
Besides that, like, movement on the edge of your vision every so often, and the fact that, you know, your dread's a little bit worse than normal, and you're thinking ever so slightly, you can hear a sound off in the distance that sounds vaguely familiar, but you just can't place it.
Huh. Um,
A whisper, almost.
can I do the empathy thing where I try and see if I can feel any other presences on the ship?
Sure.
Thank you. Plus my empathy. I've got it all written down in the book so I don't have to put it anywhere that anybody else can see it. 3.
So with 3 successes, you're not picking up anything. Um, Celeste is doing her thing where she is a wall, so you can't read her.
Mm-hmm.
But what you do detect is like all around you is a very like thin, well, not just around you specifically, but in the air is like a very thin sense of like emotion.
Mm.
And that like thin sense of emotion is like a mixture of dread, anger, and self-loathing. And it seems to just like permeate the entirety of the area.
That's the last thing I want. Hey Celeste, how do you turn off your fucking emotions again? How do I shut this off?
And well, first you need to find a means to clear your mind, and then she goes through all the various steps.
Mm-hmm.
The very, very long-winded steps. Please roll.
Yeah. Whee!
Ooh. Yeah, it takes you a little bit, but not nearly as long as before, and you're able to turn off those emotions so you're not feeling all of that nasty. Working?
Oh, I'm not feeling anything extra.
Well, it's working then.
Great. Thanks.
That's what I'm here for, to help and monitor, yay.
You agreed to this, even after you saw me be like that to the captain.
Well, to be fair, I'm actually on your side in that scenario.
Oh, that's a first.
Kind of weird that no one else is taking your side in that matter. Amanda's her own fucking woman, and the captain and Amanda have been broken up for over a year now. There's no fucking reason that using her name, even if it was kind of, implied, well, even if someone could get that maybe you're implying something nasty,
Mm-hmm.
it's not what you said. And when you assume things, you make an ass of yourself. Which is what he did.
Not every one of us, just you.
Like I said, kind of surprising. I'm also surprised that no one slugged the cop in the face, but then again, he is a cop.
We were on a Federation ship less than 5 minutes before that, and it's not really the best time.
Oh, I know, but if I was there, I would have punched him.
Well, good thing you weren't.
I know.
Wouldn't exactly help the situation, don't you think?
No, but it would have been nice.
Would have been nice. You never know, you might get the chance yet.
Maybe.
Feeling hopeful.
Well, I don't like the fact that there's one cop, let alone two cops aboard the vessel. Because it feels like we have to walk in eggshells around them, which on our own home isn't exactly a fun experience.
Well, then why do it? Just make them walk on eggshells around us instead.
Because unfortunately, the power dynamic favors them at the moment.
Lucky shits. Once we're out of here,
Yes, then it's different.
got any plans?
Probably go to the bar.
The bar? That's your plan?
Did you think I had some sort of grand plan?
To piss off the cops, maybe.
Oh, the cops. I don't know. It'll come to me when it comes.
Celeste, you doing alright?
I'm doing much better than everyone else, apparently.
Well, I can't read you, so I'm gonna have to take your word for it.
It's what I do.
Okay.
It's what I do. I don't even have these weird emotion reading powers, so I don't know why you're calling me lucky. I just get to keep my privacy.
That's exactly why. Double bonus.
Well, you get to keep yours unless I actually try to read your expression and body language.
It's not
And
alright
it's,
at this point.
well, at this point, it seems that you are quite stressed and angry, and you're lashing out.
Yeah, I'm a
And
bit.
it doesn't help that people were treating you like the bad guy, it seems.
That's. He's the captain. Shouldn't talk back to the captain. That's fine. I had to pull my shit together. So, is that what I'm thinking? You got anything you don't mind losing forever?
She kind of looks at the collection of items. I don't really care if I lose with Spoon.
So it is. Chuck it for
She picks it up and she goes to toss it. Like a very like lazy toss.
me. Alright, I want to use Bolt. Let me just go see. Make sure I'm doing this right. Boost the weight, adds to base damage and die pool. Take 2 shots. Can I pour in more power into it to make it more powerful, or is that not something I can do for Bolt?
That's not something you can do at the moment, because I think at a higher level you might be able to.
Right, let me just double check the other note. Yep, you're right. Okay, so this is first one, second one.
Okay. You needed 3 successes to hit it, so you got 3 and 4, so you do hit it. As it is a small object.
Yay!
You. Oh, now I know what that thing you shot at the ferryman is, she says, standing up and walking over to her spoon. She kind of holds it up. She kind of holds up a slightly warped piece of metal.
No, chuck it again.
I think it'd be better to do that in the firing range.
I'd rather do it right now if it's all the same to you.
Well, just don't miss. She tosses it again.
Away
This
from
time
myself,
in a, away from herself and also in a direction so that if he misses, it ain't going to hit anything important.
Nice, cool. Five and 1.
5. It hits it, but it hits it off course, and your second ball just hits the wall. And Celeste just kind of looks at it and looks back to Ram and says, "All right, well, that's enough with the tossing stuff."
I got more in me.
I'm sure you got a lot more in you. It's just more so that I don't know how much the wall can handle being burnt and scarred. Plus, we need to clean that up.
He just goes and grabs the spoon. What are they gonna notice anyway? Nobody looks at the walls.
Ram, there's a burn mark on the wall now.
Maybe I lit a smoke too close to it. It's fine.
One more throw. She holds out her hand for the spoon.
Hands it over. You can understand.
Rolls her eyes. Tosses it again.
6 and 5.
Right, both hit. And on your final hit, the spoon is basically no more. It's like 2 separate pieces. Well, the spoon breaking does signify that you're done shooting bullets.
Fine. It stretches. That's a little bit better anyway.
Towards the cockpit area, so that direction, not like actual cockpit. You swear. One of those whispers, you swear it was Freya's voice.
Fuck you. Things are going so well, too. Is he even going to roll for this? Let's see.
Well, you know you're in shock.
I know I'm in shock. But he likes being in shock. Fuck. Hey, Celeste, wanna go on a little journey?
Depends on what you mean by a journey.
I'm just heading up the hallway, that's all.
Why do you want to head up the hallway, Ram? she says, crossing her arms, looking quite exasperated now.
Captain's voice.
I didn't hear Melv.
That's okay. You don't have to.
Well, Melv is currently in the chiropods.
Did I say move?
There's no other captains on the board, unless you include Harkin. But he's also in a chiropod.
I'm not gonna come with you.
I want to know why you want to go up there. Then I'll make my decision.
It'd be nice to hear Freya's voice one more time before she gets fucking murked.
Alright, so one, are you sure you want to go and enable whatever fucking monster is up there? And two, are you sure you want to enable whatever fucking monsters up there? And three, we're in shock space. Frey is not here.
I've heard stories. Sometimes it just projects what's happening in the world somewhere.
Sometimes it does do that indeed. And it also feeds upon what you're actively thinking and experiencing.
I shut that part off.
You shut that part off only a few minutes ago. And we both know you were thinking about this entire situation, all up until that moment.
Maybe it's all hostile.
It probably is, though.
Yeah, no one heard what
She certainly does sound like a bitch. Takes one to know one.
Of course it does.
So,
You
do
just
you
sit
really want to
down.
go up there
Mm.
and deal with whatever monstrosity is pretending to be your captain?
He just sits down.
Wonderful. She sits down.
You know, you could go back into the cryopod whenever you want.
Celeste, do you want to go on a trip? Why do I want to go on a trip, Ram? Well, you see, Celeste, I'm
Whenever you
hearing my
want,
captain.
Celeste.
Oh, well, you know what? I'm not going to go. Oh, that's good to hear, Ram. Hey, Celeste, do you want to go in your chiropod? And she then, like, looks back to you.
Anytime you
I
like.
don't know, Ram. Why do you want me to go in my chiropod?
Shock space is peaceful, you know.
I beg to fucking differ.
I guess we're having different experiences.
You're actively hearing something trying to fuck with you. That doesn't sound peaceful.
It ain't. It's not combative either. It's not aggressive.
You know, that's how it starts, right? Being buggy. You hear things, you start to experience things, and then you start becoming combative, aggressive,
Celeste, if you were in shock,
violent.
it'd be strange if I wasn't hearing things.
But you see my point here?
One sec, one sec.
It's not combative. Oh, okay.
Continue.
Fantastic. That's my point, Ram. It's not combative yet.
You think I'm going buggy?
No, I was actually just using that as a metaphor slash reference point of how something can go from not being combative to combative.
Alright, well, you could have done without that. You just confused me. I get your point.
Good.
I'm not gonna chase the fucking thing.
Good.
I could have just sit here for a little bit.
Sure. I'm gonna sit here too.
And suit yourself. Actually, you know what? There's one
Yeah.
other thing I haven't tried with you yet.
What's that?
I I can send my emotions out too, rather than just, getting them.
All right. Well, you know what? First, try when I have my defense up, I guess.
Oh, you mean like now?
Yes.
Like most of the time?
Actually, I don't keep it up most of the time
Fair enough. It's like a million stories.
because it's mostly mentally exhausting. Plus, I kind of hope that you and Rai will respect my privacy.
We can't help what we get from people when we're just in the area, but we're not exactly being touchy-touchy.
Now, there's a significant difference between actively trying to get more than surface level stuff because if you know how to read expressions, you can get surface level stuff anyways.
Mm. 3 successes.
All right. You try to push it and you don't like experience a backlash, but it kind of just like slides off where Celeste's mind should be,
Oh, that's
like oil.
freaky. That's... Ugh.
The good kind of freaky or the bad kind of freaky.
The weird kind of freaky.
All right, so the good kind. So now I'll turn it off. And she closes her eye for a moment to figure shit out, and then she opens her eyes again. You can faintly detect her again.
Mm-hmm.
All right, try again.
It was just that easy to switch eyes without. Cool.
I have so much experience.
Mm-hmm.
With that, it is successful. What are you trying to push onto her?
Um... Didn't think that far. Let me think. I didn't think I'd actually be successful, It's Celeste. Uh...
Well, she lowered her wall so you can do this.
She did, kind of, though. Trying to push... Just Rand's general feelings at the moment. He's not really thinking of what to push on her, so...
What are his general feelings?
Ah, that's a shit question. Okay,
Air, anger,
yeah, yeah.
loathing.
No, not the loathing. Well, self-loathing. Frustration. Um, disgust. Numbness.
What is this self-disgust or just disgust?
Just disgust. If I was
Okay,
there, it would be pointed directly at her, but...
okay. All right. So you push your emotions.
Mhm.
Celeste's smile takes a little bit of a hit, kind of like raises a brow at you and says, "Well, that's certainly a bunch of heavy shit."
You're the one I wanted to know, aren't you?
Well, I guess this is a roundabout way to answer that question.
Easily using the words.
Kind of rolls her eyes. It's also kind of cheating.
I'm not exactly known for playing fair.
No, no, you're not. Well, what I can say on the matter is quite simple. Oh, sorry, excuse me. Oh.
What she said on the matter is, oof.
Would be pretty funny. Well, it is quite the matter. And have you, I don't know, talked to someone about all of these conflicting emotions yet?
What are they gonna do?
I don't know, talk it out, hug it out, something like that.
I got
Try
the
to make
second
you
one
feel
covered, and I don't need the
fuzzy.
first. Alright.
Hugging it out. And who did you hug it out with?
Take a guess.
Amanda? Honda?
Oh, 2 for 2. Let's go.
Oh. Hmm. At least one of those can be semi-productive.
You got something to say?
Yes.
Say it.
I'll be quite frank then. Sorry, no, it's not. She doesn't say Frank.
Mhm.
That's only Amanda. I'll be I'll be honest then. Whatever you have going on with Hana is fucking weird.
He just sits back and crosses his arms, looks at her, and
And it's not healthy by any means.
and
And that. It's weird, it's unhealthy. I can't fathom to understand someone's interests, so that's not my place to judge. But it is fucking Hana, an emotionless Halo. But interests, those are different things. I can't judge people for those. But I can say how it is. It's fucking weird. And it's certainly not fucking healthy. The Amanda Mel relationship, now that wasn't healthy. Amanda was killing herself trying to keep that up. And I reckon you're going to do the same thing.
what business of yours is it whether or not I have a relationship with Hunter and how healthy it is?
Well, besides my own vested interests, as your co-worker, and I like to think as your friend, I find it concerning.
I don't see your point. You
You don't
obviously
see the...
don't know what you're talking about. So I'm just gonna pretend this
Well,
never happened.
in this conversation alone, I've actually learned a little bit more about you. And I think I've managed to kind of figure out what the fuck you're doing, and it's kind of weird and it's gross.
Oh, do enlighten me.
You might actually be attracted to Hana, but I don't think that's why you're with Hana. I think the reason you're with Hana is because you felt secured for some reason with Hana, and now you're latching onto that. I think you need to feel secure. It's why Melv isn't your captain. Freya is, because Freya makes you feel secure, doesn't she? Or something along those lines. I haven't figured out exactly what it is they make you feel, but I'm starting to think so.
Who said Mel wasn't my captain?
You did.
I'm on this ship right here.
Ram,
As long as
you
I'm
said
here.
that. Those were your words.
I said the captain's up there. I didn't say Melv wasn't mine. This is what I mean, Celeste. You don't know what you're talking about.
Alright. Is Melv your captain? Be honest. Or do you consider Freya your captain?
A man can have more than one captain in his life. It's not a permanent station.
As a military man, I'm sure you know that's not the case. You have one CO.
Well, if you want to put it like that, then neither of them. But I left the military a long time ago, Celeste.
So you did. That doesn't change the fact that just because you're dancing around what it is doesn't mean I'm not any less right. Or tell me right now that I'm 100% wrong.
You're 100% wrong.
She's rolling to see if you're lying. And I know you're lying. So roll your lie, you son
Okay.
of a
Alright.
bitch.
Good thing I
All
got
right,
that soft hook.
let's see if her dice betray her now.
1 second. Get those devil rolls. Fuck your gold rolls, Celeste. It's a, cool fast hook, right?
Clout fast talk. You
Fuck
wish it
you.
was cool.
Fuck you. Could I argue for
Actually,
cool
wait.
for his poker face?
Actually, 1 second. It might
Mm-hmm.
actually be that. So 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
We need to open up sheets to
Oh,
figure it out.
lie on the spot is apparently reaction.
Eh, it can be a couple different things.
But it's not clout, and I'm fine with that.
Clout is supposed to be one of the things. But it can be multiple things. So if it does say cool, I will allow cool.
Uh-huh. Well, I do not see a cool. I do see a reaction.
Okay. Would you prefer to do a reaction?
Then a clout, yes. Then a cool, I'll take the cool. Which one am I allowed, sir?
Talk your way past a person's clout. Give a sense that someone's lying. Yep. Do a reaction.
Okay, thank you, thank you. Very kind. Let's see.
No, the entire reason I opened up her sheet.
Oh, well, you know what? It was worth it. I got one success.
Well, no. Where's your interrogation clout? There it is.
Oh, fucked.
You might not be.
I don't know. She gets pretty good rolls. She's pretty lucky.
She is pretty lucky. Does she have any bonuses? She does not. Yep, she. She
Yeah.
might not get this. 5 successes with
Yeah,
8
she
dice.
obliterates me. Okay, cool. He's lying. She with 5 successes.
How?
Yeah,
How?
she.
How much of this is a lie?
He wishes it was true.
Okay.
um, he respects Mills, but he's not his captain.
She gives him a very long look. You can still see that thing just moving with the periphery of your vision. Every so often, you can hear Freya's voice
Mm-hmm.
off in the distance, but what she's saying, you just can't make out.
Mm,
There's also another voice, like underneath that one, even further back, which also sounds vaguely familiar, but you just can't put your finger on that one.
mm-hmm.
And Celeste says, Ram,
Mm.
one of the key parts of being security is knowing when people are bullshitting you.
Have fun
I'm
figuring
pretty
that
good at
one out.
I'm pretty good at reading your bullshit.
Alright, another way. He will try and project what he's feeling to her as she asks him questions.
Ooh. Roll for it.
Okay. Yep.
Oh, my
12 successes.
Alright, you were successful.
Okay.
What are you projecting at her?
Um,
Angie?
he projects exactly the same things as before. A little bit of irritation. Very much like, step the fuck off feeling. um, and more of the numbness creeping in.
So, her smile takes another small little hit. But she doesn't seem to be backing down just yet.
Mm-hmm.
As she says, Ram.
He's trying to keep it up this time, so when she asks him things, she'll just feel the instant reaction.
Okay. You're able to keep it up.
Okay. Mm.
I think you need serious help.
Like a little bit of confusion and then a lot more irritation.
She kind of like adjusts her position, kind of looks at you a bit before saying, "Take it from me, who has done shit even worse than what you could imagine, okay? And you've done some pretty terrible shit, like probably butchered kids and fun stuff like that, right?" Her smile's gone, and she has a very cold demeanor to her, something you don't normally see on Celeste, because normally she's slouched, laid
Mm-hmm.
back, having a good time. She
Mm-hmm.
is rigid posture. Her expression, despite there being a smile there, there's no mirth in that expression. It's almost soulless,
Oh.
like blank eyes expression. Just you're looking at the face of a killer in this moment.
Oh, that's hot. That's sexy. Nice, 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 nice.
Oh fuck. Ram's just like, so take it from me, who's been at this for a long fucking time, right? You need help because this codependency bullshit that you have, it's going to get you killed, all right? And I have all my beef with Hana. You understand that, y'all. You probably don't, but you shouldn't be dependent upon someone like him. You shouldn't be dependent upon someone like Freya. And you shouldn't be dependent upon fuck anyone, really. You're a Acadian soldier. Fucking act like it.
And again, she brings it back to fucking.
Unless that's where all of this is coming from.
Unless what?
Your training. Unless your training is where all of this came from. In which case, fucking Christ. Fuck, she wouldn't say Christ. She'd say, fucking shit.
I don't think you care much where it came from. As long as you get what you want out of this situation.
Ooh, what is it I want?
I don't know, Celeste. I genuinely have no idea. What do you get out of making sure I...
Well, I make sure I have a coworker who isn't going to stab me or my crew in the back because their current dependent gets hurt.
Are you even understanding what's going on right now? Do you have any idea?
I have a pretty good idea from these emotions that you're throwing at me, yeah.
I chose the Rossi. Do you get that? You get it through your thick little head that I'm here, alright? I'm not gonna fucking stab y'all in the back. I got nowhere else to go anymore.
Ram, that's all the more reason why I'm concerned.
Fuck does that mean, Celeste? He feels very tired.
I'm sure you know a lot more about Hana's secrets than I do. Probably know close to as much as Melv, maybe more than Melv.
Point.
Point is, Hana's a secretive person, and Hana's the kind of person to get spooked.
Secretive
If
person.
Hana was if Hana was put in a situation where he had to choose himself over Rossi, he'd definitely choose himself.
No.
I'm sorry, but everything I've seen about Hana's character points to that direction.
You
I hope
haven't
I'm wrong.
you haven't seen much.
I've seen enough.
What was that first thing you said to be about him just now? Was a dishonest person a secretive person?
They are indeed a secretive person, yeah.
He's got secrets. He's a fucking honest person. He couldn't hide shit if you paid him unless something serious depends on it. He doesn't try to. You don't even read that much. What do you think you get off trying to put words in his mouth, put actions on his body? Fuck off.
Ah, fuck off. She kind of like relaxes again.
Relaxes. Was she tensed?
No, no. So she, she,
From the
she was like
cool
that.
killer
That
kind of situation,
yeah.
right? Okay.
The cool kill. She just goes back to like how she normally is. Ah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Fuck off. How it instantly ends a conversation, just because you say it so. You say Hana's not a secretive person, that he's actually an honest person. He hides only the things that he feels he needs to hide. On the contrary, I feel that Hana hides many more things than he lets on. I also feel that Hana does go out of her way to make things more complicated. They may not do it on purpose, but they certainly do it.
Making things complicated and being a secretive shithole are two very different things.
Oh,
Hana
you're
doesn't
right, and
have
I
as
feel
many
Hana's
secrets as you
both.
could fill a palm full.
Hana sure does seem to constantly be on the run from things. Constantly forces Melv to go to the worst fucking ports that charge the highest amounts of cost for repairs and fuel,
Forces.
supplies. Oh, yeah.
You think he's
There's
doing?
no other there's no other reason for us to be going to Mouse Station as a salvage ship. There is stations far better to take care of Arasi.
You think
Same with
Hana's
Catcher.
walking up there, manipulating his way into Melv's head, like, ah, no, you gotta go this direction. You gotta. You think he's got a gun to the
No,
guy's face?
no, I think he has something even better. Melv knows the truth, and Melv cares about Hana, so Melv wants to make sure Hana's safe. Sounds kind of familiar.
By that definition, anybody who ever takes after somebody is forcing that person into whatever they do at that point. Any kind of care. I'm forced to look after Mac. I'm forced to be here in Marassi. You're forced to hang out with Hash every day in and day out.
To an extent.
No.
However, no, what I was getting at was that Hana, consciously or unconsciously, manipulates people around him to protect himself.
Of course he does. We all do.
And Hana's a little bit better at it than most people, it seems.
It's got better reason to be. What's your point here?
My point's a fact that we get back to what I originally said, where, with what I've seen of Hana's character, if a situation popped up where it was him or Verasi, he'd choose him, and that would undoubtedly mean that you would have to side with him because you have this weird situation going on with you.
You think you got everything sorted out in that head of yours, don't you?
I know I'm missing pieces, but I think I'm pretty damn close, especially considering the very bold-faced lie you tried to tell me, and now I'm sure that you're again trying to dissuade me by your flowery words of, oh, you think you got it figured out, Celeste.
Alright, then I
Yes,
won't use
I
my
think
fucking words.
you
Hana would not abandon everyone on Marasi. And he projects his emotions again.
can. What are you projecting?
I'm projecting that he's telling the truth. Very much.
Ram? Oh, no, no, you
Well, I
don't
got
need to
four
roll for it.
anyway. Okay.
Ram, I don't doubt for a second that you believe that.
Why do you doubt him? Because me and him, we've had that talk.
I doubt him because his actions continue to give me no reason to think any different. I understand he's a Halo and he's not a fighter, and that doesn't make him a coward. I understand that. It wouldn't be fair to judge him for running the opposite direction from conflict. And despite him being a Halo, he doesn't always run in the opposite direction. So he does get points for that. The problem, however, lies. Oh, are you sending me messages?
No, it's Bree in chat.
Ah, okay. Hello, Bree.
Hello.
Um, However, where that comes into play is that fuck, I need to figure out how to word that one.
Good luck, because you're stepping in dangerous territory.
I know, right?
Hey, Bree, remember that conversation we had about if anybody ever asked if Ram and Hana's relationship was abusive? Hey.
No. Oh my god. Oh, really? I came in at a great time, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. Hana, in all of their relationships, except for maybe the one they have with Amanda, is very much a user.
You get the feeling again, wrong.
She doesn't believe. She's she's just like, yeah, of course you feel that way. Sort of like expression on her face because you're fucking whipped.
No
Um,
matter what he says, it's
as
not going to change her mind.
I know, right? As she continues and says, additionally, as I've already said, he's secretive
He's the most
and
honest person on this
oh,
ship. You're all fucking deluded.
the most honest person on this ship's Trent, followed by Hash.
Trent's got nothing to hide, and Hash has two brain cells to rub together. He can barely start a fire.
Exactly. Hana has plenty of things to hide.
He's got approximately two, and neither of them are
And
any of
those
your business.
Well, those two things, as I had previously said, are clearly affecting my and everyone else's day-to-day life upon Verasi.
How? Because Melv stops off at different stations? Because maybe we have a little bit less
Because
in the bank?
we
That's what Amanda's here for.
because we actively avoid anything that makes sense. We actively avoid populated areas. Hana actively avoids any large get-together of people. Hana actively tries to hide as much as they can whenever we dock. To me, that tells me that someone's hunting Hana. He's a Halo, so of course someone's hunting Hana. He's on a scavenging ship, so of course someone's hunting Hana. Or, the worst one is that it's not just someone, it's an entire fucking organization. Or even better, Hana's a fucking criminal in some place, and he's been hiding out, and a couple people aboard this ship know, and just are letting it go. Which is why we continue to exist on a ship bucket, despite us having done jobs to a point now where we should have easily been able to upgrade velocity. No. We continue to remain on the shit bucket. It's a homely shit bucket, but it's still a shit bucket. I'm glad we finally got it renovated.
So let's
It
let me stop
fucking
you
needed
there.
it.
I don't give a shit. What is your problem here? What do you want
I've
the
actually
solution to
outlined
be?
I've outlined a lot of things here.
Yeah. You keep on going around and around and around. It keeps on coming back to the dock. What the fuck is your point? You want him to leave?
Well, that would be amusing. No. I want the doc to stop putting people in danger over secrets.
There is no. You don't understand anything. And you're talking
You're
out your
right.
ass without the knowledge or the facts to back it up.
I have a lot of facts to back me up on the fact that we're in danger from his presence. I actually just listed all of the facts regarding why we're doing the things we're doing. I may not know what the danger is, but I know it exists.
You have so many misconceptions about him. You'd assign the world wars to him if you could.
It would be kind of funny if he was a war criminal.
Fucking hilarious.
Oh, it would be the Halo war criminal. Now that would be newsworthy. But no, I don't think he's a war criminal. If he was, I'd be shocked.
Ha ha. What are you digging out here?
She's like exasperated. Like, I've already explained this.
He's not taking in anything she's saying because it makes no sense to him.
I know. Hana is a user.
You're wrong.
Hana indirectly
You're
or
wrong.
directly manipulates
You're
people.
wrong.
Hana continues to prove himself to be
No fucking clue.
a problem. You have your own issue, and you have started to rely upon Hana's presence for whatever weird reason as a means to fill that gap you have. Just like how Freya is filling that gap. Which is still weird.
Well, maybe I just like, him. Maybe I just want to hang around him because we get along. Maybe that's it. Maybe there's nothing terrible about it.
Maybe you're delusional.
Maybe you've got problems, and this conversation is over.
Oh, I definitely have problems. But at least I can admit mine.
A warning.
What did you say?
He sends you like a warning kind of feeling.
Did I strike a nerve for him?
You don't think this whole conversation's been a bit of a piss and shit fest?
Absolutely, it has been. You've been projecting me those emotions the entire time.
And you kept on going. That's
Yeah,
enough.
because I felt like it needed to be said.
I'm done.
So what? You're going to avoid the problem?
There is
Stick
a
your
problem. You're
stick
signing
your
shit
head
where it
under the
doesn't need to be.
floorboards? Hope it all goes away? Because it won't.
Any point during this entire thing, I could have turned around and shot back right on top of you. I could have made 1,000
Please, go
points.
ahead.
And I'm not
Go
going
ahead.
to. You get that?
Why not? You clearly want to.
Yeah, I do. And maybe I will in a couple of days when I'm feeling more like myself because I can understand when I'm not myself. Alright?
tries. She's going to see if you're lying again for your teeth.
Mm-hmm.
Are you lying for your teeth?
No, he's telling the truth. He, whatever Freya did to him, whatever he let her do, he let her do it with his eyes open. Same thing with whatever's happening with Hana. He gets what's going on, and this case, he doesn't see a problem.
Regardless of our pissing contest, you should definitely speak to someone professional about that entire dependency issue you have.
You should go and speak to somebody about that entire fucking control issue you have.
I don't actually have a control issue, but I do speak to Lauren about some of my problems. I'm allowed to.
Good night, Celeste.
Good night, Ram.
And yes, he is leaving her there in the shock space.
All right.
He doesn't want to fight her, but he might. He might. Better that they stop there.
Well, there is one thing that she might say. So 1 second.
Mm-hmm.
Oh boy.
Say it.
Say it.
Yeah.
So
Do
once-
it, drama.
So when Ram got to like here, Celeste did get to here, and she does call out and say, how to word that?
It's hard. Conflict is hard.
The worst of ways, the most painful. Let's see the drama, baby.
You are a
All right.
gremlin. Shush.
So she will say, by the way, maybe we can end this on a happy note. I am sorry for what's going to happen to your family. I do hope that you felt you made the right decision.
I need to empathy her real quick. I really do. I really do. Oh my god, Celeste. What the fuck? 5 successes. What the fuck is she
Ooh,
intending with
okay.
this?
Okay, so so she put her thing back up, and your empath waves kind of rolled across her, but on her face you can see that there's a lot going on there in her like actual expressions. She seems confident, relaxed. She also seems like, there's a little bit of like, I genuinely mean that, but there's also like a little bit of that was kind of give a sense that that was a little bit of a barb. But it's kind of weird because there's the genuine concern and like, yeah, I hope you made the right choice, and I am sorry, but at the same time, it's apparent she knew what to say. A little bit of a barb there, which makes the entire statement confusing. Because she
Okay.
meant it, but at the same time, is she trying to start a fight?
Yep, because he's ready to fight. uh, now I gotta think about how to phrase this. Jesus Christ, Celeste. I just said I wouldn't stab you in the back. Don't make me go back on my word.
So, what, you felt like you didn't make the right choice, Ven?
Celeste,
Ram.
shut the fuck up.
I felt that my words were quite heartfelt and consoling. I don't know why you're getting so aggressive all of a sudden, Ram.
It's a mystery, really.
Must be what's going on inside that head of yours. It's not like I can just
Stop
see what you're feeling.
talking. I'm going to go to sleep. This conversation is over and it never happened.
Well, if you go to sleep now, you're going to wake up all pissed off.
And there'll be people around and I won't feel like slamming into the wall.
Slamming into the wall? For what? Looking out for my coworker and friend in their tiring time when they are feeling like a piece of shit?
If you want to fight, you're going the right way to get it.
What, do you think I want to fight you, Ram?
I don't know, Celeste. I have no fucking clue. You got your guard back up again.
You're right, I do have my guard back up. Makes it a little bit harder to read how I'm feeling, doesn't it?
He pulls open his pod.
You can't always run away, Ram. She kind of stands at the door, leaning against it.
Celeste, I'm telling you right now, if you say one more thing, I'm gonna deck you.
She has the biggest shit-eating grin. One more thing.
Fine, fine. You know what?
Celeste, end of the day, is a monster. She can't help herself.
Ah, here we go. Damn, alright. Ram wants the slugger. In the
All right,
tummy.
roll,
Gut punch.
roll to gut punch her.
Jesus fucking Christ, Celeste. Six.
All right. You're successfully able to gut punch her. She makes a little bit of like a pained sound as her body does recoil a bit. She does step back. But she straightens up her posture and kind of rolls her shoulder a bit and says, "You call that a slug?" She has that big grin still. You know you hit her hard. Definitely you felt like the flinch of pain. Like, you know you hit her hard, but she's not showing that pain. She has that cocky grin.
She's not gonna hit him?
Not yet.
Stay down and shut up.
Or maybe you could stop running and actually address your problems.
He slugs
Like
her
a
again. Same place.
function person can't solve every problem with violence. Now can you, Ram?
And he wants to backhand her across the face.
After all that, and the backhand comes, kind of slap her across the face.
Mhm.
She kind of stumbles again. After all, it doesn't get you anywhere. 。 that there's like a little bit of a haze around your eyes at that point, and you can definitely hear, the distant Freya voice can start kind of getting a meaning to it right now. It's what's a word? She's encouraging your behavior, goading you on, letting you know you are being such a good boy.
Of course. I don't want to beat Celeste. I don't want to fight her in the first place. She'll kick my ass. uh. 1 second. I'm rolling my cool. Because it's Freya, I'm taking a -3.
Okay.
Whew! He grabs her by the collar and he drags her over to her cryopod.
She will suddenly put her foot down and resist your grab.
Get
Because
in the
she ain't
pod,
done.
Celeste.
7. She manages to break your grip when you get like halfway across the room. Takes a step back and says, "Not until you decide to handle this like a mature adult, Ram."
I'm handling it as best I can right now, and I'm not fucking killing you. You get inside the pod.
Ooh, so commanding. I'm so afraid. What about is what I said struck a nerve? The fact that I'm right? Or the fact that you're in denial?
Fucking news. And he wants to kick her. Towards the pod if he can.
It's kind of difficult because she
Resisting?
positioned herself a bit of a way so
Alright.
that, she's this way.
Okay. 3.
She does step away from your kick this time.
Mm-hmm.
That's not an answer, that's just lashing out.
You gave up your right to answer a long time ago.
Did I? Because so far, most of our discussion has been me talking, you avoiding any answers and just throwing emotions at me.
And who said that you got the right to ask the questions in the first place, especially when you don't know what the fuck you're talking about?
Without any further information, I'll never fucking know what I'm talking about now,
And I'm
will
not
I?
gonna give you that information, and you can't have that information. Ha! Good. Conversation over. Get in the pod.
I don't think that this conversation's over at all. You struck me several times.
Hit me back.
No. I'm not going to give you the satisfaction of hitting you, Ram. Because that's what you want, isn't it?
He turns around. He goes to his pod again and just starts setting it up so he can get in. Very angrily mashing buttons.
She doesn't stop him. Instead, she says, after a moment, oh, how to word that one? Yeah, okay. There's a little bit of a sigh from her, and then she says, "If you just talk, well, we just talk, I'm sure that we can actually work through the overarching problems that both of us are experiencing in this situation,
Your
rather
overarching
than.
problems are built off misunderstandings you don't seem to want to fix.
And you've provided nothing that could help me change my misunderstandings.
And I can't, and I won't.
Why can't you?
Because maybe I have my reasons, and you don't get to be privy to them.
So, you want to continue this entire song and dance of you being damaged and
Fucking
me
damn.
looking at trying to looking out for you?
You don't have to look out for me. Look, there. Problem solved.
I'm sorry, but that doesn't solve the problem.
This thing. It's
Because you pressed the
done.
wrong button 3 fucking times, Ram. It's the other one.
Fuck up, Celeste.
Oh, now I'm the bad guy for helping you by telling you that you pressed the wrong button.
Slams a fist on the pod.
Now you're gonna break it. See, look at how worked up you are just for the fact that I am questioning the whatever all of this is. That's not the sound of I have my issues. Don't talk about it because you know what? It's not your business. This is the I have my issues. I know I have issues. I'm in denial of me having issues. I don't want to fucking talk about it.
Celeste, this isn't the time. You want to have this conversation? Get me some other day.
I think this is exactly the time because I'm all worked up because of a fucking shock. You're all worked up because of a fucking shock. Might as fucking well just embrace the madness.
You understand that it's because of the fucking shock, so get in your cryopod. You're not thinking straight. Neither am I.
She's about to say something again, but then she kind of like pauses a moment, and she kind of grows silent. And if you look back at her, she has like a very like confused or like questioning expression.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's the smartest thing you've said this entire time. And she kind of pushes past you and very quickly keys in the codes and like the proper date. And she seems to be like moving almost like a robot and
Mm-hmm.
in this moment.
Mm-hmm.
Discussion over for now. I think I'm under the influence.
No fucking kidding.
Then she goes over to her pod and does the same thing.
Takes a second to compose himself, but he gets in his pod.
Celeste gets in shortly after.
Discussion over, Celeste. Good night. He slams it shut.
Well, you can't slam it as
Yeah,
much
you
as it
just
just
close
closes
it.
itself
Yeah.
slowly.
A lot
So it
less
ends.
dramatic than he wants it to be.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I guess we'll have to pick it up some other time.
Don't count yourself
Psh, and so it closes with Ram getting angry again.
like
Ram wakes up angry.
Yep, this is an angry Ram. This is why he was like that.
So, hey, so now you know what happens when you share emotion. That person experiences those emotions too,
Mm-hmm. Yep.
to a point where those emotions can even partially override theirs.
Mm-hmm.
That's what was happening to Celeste the entire time. He was
Mm-hmm.
feeding off of it.
Mm-hmm.
So
Were
Celeste
you
was,
encouraging Celeste to be angry by being angry?
Mm-hmm.
yes, it was a feedback loop.
Mm-hmm.
There was 2 occasions where Ram said something where she was able to roll cold to like resist and come to her senses.
Yep.
But first time she failed. Second time though, she got it.
She got it. She got it.
Got it. 4 successes, 5 dice. Oh yeah.
Oh, thank God, Celeste. Jesus Christ. Woo! Thought I was really gonna have to fight her there. No.
When do you want
Jesus.
to have your follow-up, RB? Because Celeste ain't dropping this.
Yeah, we can have that follow-up RP whenever you want. I'm reeling.
When do you want it?
We can do it today, we can do it tomorrow, we can do it whenever. I'm free.
Okay.
If you do it now, I'd love to listen.
I bet you would. I bet you would. It was a
This
very
is fascinating.
it was a very Hana-centric conversation. I'll tell you that much.
I came in at a very fun time, Celeste. Hana uses everyone except for Amanda.
Ooh. Ooh.
Yeah. She has her opinions on Hana.
Oh yes,
She
she
does.
do.
She certainly does.
I shake your hand.
She thinks Hana is a piece of shit. She thinks he's a user.
Mhm.
She thinks he's secretive. She thinks he's the entire reason why Rossi's in a shitty place.
Mhm.
Oh,
I guess what
love
she
it.
did, she brought all that up after she got Ram angry about the Morgan.
Yeah.
That's great.
Well, it was
love it.
because of his entire thing with Morgan where she was like, all right. Because at first she was like, okay, I'm not going to say anything. Because like maybe I'm just like looking into things the wrong way. I don't have any proof that Ram has a dependency issue. Ram mentions the Freya thing. Celeste, he does have a dependency issue.
He's being influenced by shock and void. Ah.
Hey,
Mm.
we both know he has a dependency issue.
Yeah, but not with fucking Hana. He's okay. He's got feelings, but he's not beholden to them the same way he is to the shit that happens with him and Freya.
I don't know. You told Hana that you'd kill for him.
He's a raider. He'd kill for a lot of people.
Fair enough. Raider expressing their love. I'll kill for you. Thanks, babe.
Yeah, it's not as extreme as you seem to think it
Yeah.
is.
It's no like peaceful person being like, I do this for you. Rams killed children. It's not really a stretch
Celeste's
that
done worse, apparently. Celeste is... Oh, she had a very sexy moment. It was delicious.
What? Fill me in, fill me in.
She just went into her cold, hard killer mode, and she's very sexy. Like, smile with no emotion behind it.
I can't
Nice.
believe Ram finds that sexy.
Of course he does. He found Freya sexy.
Oh god.
I'm very glad that Ram wasn't projecting his emotions during that moment, because Celeste would have words to say.
Of course she would. Well, maybe she'd understand a bit better why he doesn't think he should be with her.
Is it the emotionless aspect that really is the attractive part? Ram, is that where it's coming from?
Nope, but Celeste was very different in that moment. He likes difference. Fucking hell. Jesus Christ, Chance.
What?
I didn't expect any of that, you know?
It's keeping it real, okay?
Mm-hmm. You sure were.
That's what I gotta do, okay? 4 reviews.
For the clout.
For the cloud. So, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
We can do the next one if you want.
Sure, I'm up for it. You got time?
Yeah.
Okay. You got energy?
Yeah.
Okay. Alright, let's go.
So, this would be after they exit shock space at some point.
At some
Probably
point.
the same day.
Okay, let me just put this
Maybe
down really
even
quick.
maybe not the same day, but maybe when they get to the next station. And when some people are, going off the ship to stretch their legs.
Alright, so... Get to next station. Alright.
What does Ram do during that time?
Well, during that time,
Going off to stretch his legs?
it depends. Let me see what has happened.
Or is he getting fucked by Finn?
I don't think that's gonna happen ever. I think Ram will be doing the fucking in that situation, if it ever happens. He's apologized that
Let
he
me
was
tell you.
ambushed by Amanda. He talked with Hana. He talked with. Mm-hmm.
Oh, I was going to say, let me tell you. Celeste will be a very angry being if he has intercourse with fucking Finn, of all people.
He's already
Whether top or
fucked
bottom.
her. She's got her go around. He's got to get to
It
everybody on
doesn't,
the ship eventually.
doesn't change that she'd be an angry being.
Mm-hmm. Envy.
Envy indeed.
Rest in pieces, Finn. Um,
Celeste Cox done. So you've chosen death, Finn. What? What? I don't fear, Locke. No one will know it was me.
is she not angry? Is she angry? Jealous of Amanda as well?
No, she's not jealous of Amanda
Oh, very good, very good. She gets it. They're just friends.
because she understands Amanda's just a slut.
Yep.
It's the same thing with Rye. She's not jealous of Rye because she like Rye's just a slut.
Okay, but Ram actually has feelings for Rye, so that's hilarious.
She doesn't know that.
Nice.
She knows Rye has feelings for Ram,
Nice.
but she doesn't know that it goes the other way.
Yeah, well, a little less now, doesn't it?
She found out she might be slightly jealous, but
That's hilarious.
not angry.
Everyone else is like, I will be angry at you.
Yeah, basically.
Mm-hmm.
Lorne, despite her disliking Lorne, she don't. I think it'd be hard for Celeste to be jealous or angry at Lorne.
Mm-hmm. That's mostly in the past anyway. Lorne was just the curious being.
Well, no, I just mean like in general, just Celeste being angry at Lorne's a hard thing.
In
She's just
general.
like, Lorne's weird, but not the kind of weird where I'm like, I look at it and I want to kill it. It's weird.
Oh, the kind of weird where Celeste looks at it and is like, I love this bug. I'll put it in my collection.
Celeste talking to someone. Well, I read something online recently that when you find something cute and the reason why you want to squeeze is because your body doesn't know how to handle it, so you just want to kill it.
That's the Lorne instinct coming into play.
That's how I feel about certain people. I just
Oh
love them
god.
so much, I want to snap their fucking neck.
Ram sweats. You're talking about Hash and the rest, right?
No, I'm talking about Finn. I love Finn so much I want to squeeze the life out of him.
You know what? Relatable.
Hana too.
Put that back.
I wonder if that would turn him on or not. Probably would.
Keep wandering. Hey Doc, you wanna go exclusive?
Oh.
Okay, Ram, during this time, he will be leaving the ship. It's good for him. Get on the station and do
Okay.
something. Yeah.
Alright, so
As long as
Celeste doesn't
Mac
immediately
isn't too
ambush him then.
traumatized by the idea of it, at least.
Yeah, no, she's not too traumatized.
Okay.
Celeste will not immediately ambush him because that's fucking rude, and she has some tact.
She does? Where?
I know, right? But she will eventually look for him, like, about halfway through the day.
Mm-hmm.
So definitely giving him plenty of time to do what he's got to do. Then she looks for him.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Then, he'll just be probably...
She ain't a Charlie of, like, corners you have the first available opportunity. Hello.
Hello. Have you heard about our Lord and Savior? Castle.
I'm sorry, but even if I like Castle that much, Our Lord and Savior Jesus Christ
Stop.
does
Stop.
not approve of false prophets.
Is Jesus
It
Christ
says
an
so in the
SCP?
Bible. No, but God is.
God is.
Yep, God is. I remember that happy. Okay, Ryan will let her.
I hear he's a pretty cool guy.
God's pretty chill, yeah. Cap G. Ram won't avoid her when she comes to find him.
Will or won't?
Won't.
Where does she find him?
Back on the Rossi, he would be. Yeah, he'll check the security cameras, actually. He'll be in the security room.
And Celeste will come in and say, "Oh, and of all the things that come out from that discussion, this isn't one of the good side effects I expected."
Well, now we're at a station. It's a bit different, don't you think?
Still, normally myself or Six are the ones that watch the security cameras, or, like I said, Hash when he gets bored. She folds her arms.
Well, Six needs a break sometimes.
I came to apologize for some of the things that I said. It seems the shock was certainly influencing me. However, with that apology in mind, I do think we should still have that discussion. And do you think I should make it prudent that, despite the shock affecting my mind, most of what I said is how I actually feel on the matters? I want that to be out in the open, nice and fair. The thing that I do want to, however, apologize for is my comment regarding your family. That was certainly uncalled for. And as someone who actually understands where you're coming from in that regard, I do sincerely apologize for that statement. Wasn't necessary by any means.
You gonna give me a tragic secret backstory now?
No.
Don't worry about it. You wanted to have this discussion, so let's talk. I stand by what I said also. You're wrong.
Alright, explain to me how I'm wrong.
Regards to Hana forcing people to do shit. Nobody's forcing anyone to do fuck all. Certainly not the doc. You tell him that, he'd be appalled.
That's why I said indirectly or directly. Because I don't know if he's actively trying to manipulate people.
Then
It
talk
doesn't
to
change the fact
him.
that he is.
It ain't my place to get involved. All I can tell you is you got a hell of a misconception hanging over your head. Celeste, I don't know where these thoughts of yours are coming from. Frankly, I don't wanna.
Ouch.
Yeah, well, shit happens. But the
Shit does
doc
happen.
is not the kind of person you seem to think he is. Even subconsciously, you got him all twisted. And I think you should know enough to be able to trust my word on that.
You see, I do want to trust your word for it. My concern is that, well, to me it very much does seem like you have that dependency issue regarding him as well, considering how, from what I know of Hana, he's not exactly the kind to give emotion and affection back.
He doesn't need to. Okay, what part of this is concerning you? The dependency part. What part of this is giving you the impression I'm dependent on him?
Well, for a start, it's not her pausing, it's me pausing.
Yeah, take your time.
It's pretty terrible to say it, but no, that'll be number two. The first part would be the fact that your insistence and not and your insistence in regards to Hana and his character. Additionally, the fact that you seem to find solace in a single person aboard this ship. Like, maybe recently you've been finding solace in other people. I don't exactly stalk you, so I can't say that for sure. But it seemed like for some time you only found solace in Hana, kind of making it look like a dependency issue thing. And then additionally the fact that, well, regarding your sour mood, and regarding your stay here on the Rossi.
Puts his head in his hands.
That 100% may be me just misscrutiny.
Yeah,
Sorry, not
think.
miscrutiny. Misjudging things.
Before you go
But
any
it
further,
doesn't.
let me just break that down for you, okay?
Alright.
1. I don't only find solace in Hana. Alright? Find solace is a stupid way of putting it in the first place, but I got plenty of people I can talk to and relate to. You may not be one of them, so you're not getting the gist of it. That's fine. I get it.
That's alright. I don't need to be one of them.
2. Yeah. I'm worried about the guy I'm in love with and making sure he's okay. That's not the fucking problem. That's a normal reaction most people would have. Case in point, he gestures at her. 3. He doesn't need to return my emotions. That's not what I'm here for. I don't give a shit. He's his own person. He can do his own thing. I don't care. I enjoy being around him, so I'll hang around. 4. My stay on the Rossi was predicated by my captain. Figure you knew that already, but apparently not. I'm here because
Pretty
Freya
sure the
wants
only
me
people that
here.
pretty sure that the only people who knew that one was him, Rai, Melv, and Hana.
Yeah,
Unless that was widely known information.
that's not something Ram was trying to keep secret, and he didn't know anybody else was keeping it quiet either.
Because I don't think that's common information.
Mm-hmm. So Ram just thinks people know that.
Looks like she wants to say something, but she does bite back one comment before she does say, well, that bit I didn't know. Like I said, I don't spend my days stalking you and trying to figure everything out I can about you. That's fucking weird.
Well, most people do. Whatever.
I don't think most people realize the reason you're still here is because you're captain.
I think she would have left me here without orders. Freya ain't that kind.
I had figured it was more along the lines of she left you here with a threat.
Yeah, well, got that one.
Fun.
Fuck. You had more to say. Just get it out all at once.
Oh no, while I certainly find your opinion regarding not needing affection back from Hana to be gross, because of the fact that it seems like, from what you said, you're putting in plenty of effort, and Hana isn't putting out the same amount of effort. That's a very weird dynamic
Celeste.
and isn't healthy.
Celeste.
And then the other thing, what?
Just because somebody doesn't reciprocate, romantic love doesn't mean they don't get along.
No, it doesn't mean you can't get along. It does mean the fact that if one person is reciprocating those emotions and the other person isn't, that's not a healthy relationship.
It's not a balanced relationship. There's nothing about it being unhealthy. I know exactly what I'm doing here, alright?
Just because you know what you're doing doesn't make it any less unhealthy.
You got some really weird fucking notions in your head, but it doesn't matter because none of this is
I
any of your
do.
business.
And I was moving on.
Mm.
The other thing that I was going to mention isn't exactly relevant because in that case, yes, I agree that my opinion of that matter means absolutely nothing, and as such, I'm not going to say it.
This hasn't stopped you so far.
Well, these other things I actually feel that my opinion is valid. In this case, I know it's not.
That just makes me want to hear it more. You know that's what you're doing, right?
There's a thing called jealousy,
Yeah, there
and
is.
I can, yes, and I can willfully admit that some of my actions have been caused by that. Just as I can admit that in the case of your and Hana's relationship, I know some of my intentions are not wholly pure, and I try very difficult to manage that little tidbit with my genuine concern. Because there are things that I want to say which might be able to sway you in the means of being better for me, but I have to refrain myself from doing that because be a bit hypocritical of me. Because
Don't
I'm
say.
talking about healthy relationships, and yet being manipulative isn't exactly healthy.
Funny you say that after all those things you said about the doc.
Yeah,
I appreciate the honesty.
she does like a jazz hand. Doesn't change the fact that I think Hana isn't a good person by any means. And if you really want me to talk to him on that matter, I absolutely can. I just tend to avoid it because I don't want to scare the doc too much.
I didn't say he was a good person, Celeste. I said you got him all wrong.
I'm pretty sure I got him all right.
Keep your opinion away from me and we'll be fine.
Hmm.
Maybe have a conversation with the guy before you go throwing stones at his head next time.
I haven't thrown any stones at his head yet. I think you'd realize if I did.
Funny.
Not really, no. It would probably suck to have to talk to him on a medical bed.
I'm not gonna bother with that. Alright, whatever.
So what problem are you running from?
What problem do you think I'm running from? Why am I have to be running from a problem to be here?
A fact that, in my state, me saying that really sets you off. And the fact
No,
that this
it
is where
wasn't
you're
that.
going from.
You're really, you're really getting things messed up.
Alright, so if there is no problem you're running from, what was it that was getting you so messed up? Because that phrase of words is what caused a direct reaction.
Actually, it was maybe we can end this on a happy note, and then talking about the way my entire crew is about to die. But sure,
Well, I managed to say that, and you didn't slug me in the face.
Celeste, I didn't slug you in the face because I was gonna go for my knife.
That would have been very interesting.
Yeah, I bet.
I do bet.
Why is it you want to get me so riled up anyway?
That's actually not my intent to get you riled up. It's my intent to figure out what the fuck is wrong with my coworker.
Your coworker's going through a time, and he needs his space.
My coworker is apparently going through a time, and he's been going through a time for longer than just what recently happened. It's only gotten worse now. And I don't want it to get any worse, so it's why I'm trying to talk to you about it, because I'm genuinely concerned, because I've been noticing something's been off for a while. And while personally, I think it stems from fucking Hana, I'm pretty sure that's just the jealousy talking. For all I know, I could be right, but I'm pretty sure that's the jealousy talking. Regardless, I know there's a problem. It's been persisting for a while. And it's gotten worse, which has made me concerned.
I don't know what problem you're seeing, but I don't have it. Look, I get what you're trying to do. You're being concerned. You're looking after me. You're checking up on me. I get it. Talking doesn't help, okay?
What does help? Because space isn't helping. Letting you just do it your way isn't helping. So what helps?
I just need time.
She's gonna roll an empathy on you.
Okay.
Are you resisting?
Yeah, but my credibility's 3, so go your hardest.
Well, so I do need you to make your roll.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. One sec, let me just figure this out.
if I remember correctly, that is a cool fast talk, or a clout fast talk.
Yep.
Yeah. She only got one success.
Okay. Yep. No. As he says.
You've been given lots of time, Ram. But if you're being honest, I'll drop it.
You don't believe me?
Ram, you have a tendency to lie through your teeth. Especially when people are trying to talk to you about important things, which is why I think you have a denial issue and you're running away from shit. Like, I don't know your past. I'm not running from shit.
Denial issue, Celeste.
Oh, no, I have lots of O's.
There we go.
See, difference is, I'm admitting it. I understand I have problems, and I actively try to work on my fucking problems.
I have problems, but you don't seem to be the one you're thinking I have, alright?
I also don't think you're trying to fix them. I think you're just letting them fester.
They don't fester once they're gone. I just need time. Give me my time, like they say.
How much time do you need? Because the problem I've noticed, it's been there for about 2 months, if not longer by now. Of like real time, not including shock space. So,
What problem would that be exactly? You keep on saying problem, problem, problem. The only thing you've been telling me is I'm running away from something you can't even name.
because I don't know what it is you're running away from. Because I don't know what your problem is. Because whenever I do try to ask, you're just like, it's not the problem that you seem to think it is.
As it's not.
Then what is it? Let me guess, none of my business.
Oh, wow, you can use your head sometimes.
And there lies the problem.
It is not an issue if I want to keep something to myself. It is my own business and nobody else's.
Looks like she wants to say something, but she's choosing not to.
If you've got if you've got something else to say, spell it out now. We might as well get this all done at once.
No, because we're just going to keep on going to circles, but how it's not my problem. I'm going to let you let it fester then and hope that nothing bad comes from my inaction.
Celeste, I literally can't tell you this, alright? So just drop it.
What the fuck does that even mean? You
And
literally can't tell me this.
means I literally can't tell you this. Make it an NDA if it makes you happier.
It sounds more like you don't even know what it is than a fucking NDA.
Funny that, this conversation has been a bit enlightening. Maybe I do have a problem.
She kind of gives me like an expression of, ah, yes, I know where this is going. Want to elaborate?
Nope.
Fantastic.
I can't tell you. It's not gonna affect
All
you
right.
any more than anything else on this ship is.
Well, a lot of things apparently don't affect me on this ship that do affect me.
Celeste.
Yeah,
I'm not trying to piss you off specifically, alright?
I know that.
Appreciate the concern.
I'm sure a part of you does. Precisely. Well, I see that this is going to be a lost cause. I hope that you manage to figure that out somehow. With someone, hopefully.
Celeste.
And again, yeah,
If I can tell you one day, I will.
good to know that someday I might learn what the magical problem is that's been assailing you. Anyways, sorry about what's happening with your people. That sort of shit sucks.
Huh.
Have fun watching the security cameras.
Get some rest.
No can do. She heads on out. Or starts to.
Sorry.
Don't say things you don't mean, Ram.
Hmm. You meant it.
She doesn't believe him.
Mm-hmm.
And he could probably pick that up with his cheating empathy powers.
Mm-hmm.
Of, nah.
She's got her guard down right now?
Yeah.
He projects it. Fuck you, Celeste.
Can't tell her to fuck off.
I say, he says, I'm sorry, but he means it.
Small huff from her as she walks away, so it's clear that the message got through.
Mm-hmm. Good. Alright.
But definitely leaves before she says something else to
Mhm.
enact fight.
Yes, because oh boy. Oh boy, the things she was saying. And how would she have actually fought back if we ended up fighting?
If he fought for real, probably not. She would have aimed to disarm.
Oh, sweet girl.
Because as she put it, I'm not going to give you the satisfaction of throwing back.
Less sweet girl, but very good. Does she look injured now, or is she good?
Oh, she's good.
Yeah, I figure.
Despite you like fucking beating her.
We had plenty of time in
Like,
cryo, yeah.
well, the cryo doesn't heal too much,
No,
but
she heals.
yeah, she does heal. But when she did first get out of the chiropod,
Mhm.
there was a couple of welts.
Okay. Ugh.
And Amanda definitely had asked about those.
Mhm.
So you don't know what she said, but Amanda doesn't give you like a side eye look at all. So it's apparent no one's the wiser of why she has that.
Oh, thank God. Thank God, thank God, thank God, thank God.
Amanda rips Ram's ear off. What are you doing, Ram? Smacks. Stop it. Smacks. Stop it.
You know, shock space. Things happen, one of the creatures got her, it's fine. Fucking hell.
Um, but yeah,
Yeah. Thank you for the LP.
welcome. Celeste Angie.
Yep, she sure is. Ram also angry.
For very different
For very
reasons.
different reasons.
Celeste, buddy old pal, why don't you come and talk to a friendly scientist?
Yes, why don't you go and
Sh-
actually have a conversation with the
she's,
person you've got problems with?
she's actually going to do that right now, actually.
Yeah!
Oh,
Alright, I'm gonna keep this recording
Okay.
going. Go, go,
Okay,
go!
okay, okay.
Doesn't Bree have a thing to do?
No.
nah, bitch. Bree already took her test. She got a high B.
Hey! That was great! Good job! Fuck yeah.
Okay. So,
Alright, I'm gonna eat now. Have fun.
shortly after that conversation, Celeste's.
So when does that session take place?
This is at the station where Harkin just left with Mindy to go get the stuff.
Okay, got it.
So, shortly after that conversation with Ram, she goes to find fucking Hana.
One Hahnemann more. She'd be able to find him.
Where is he?
He's on ship as usual when they dock at a station. Probably either the area outside of the personal rooms, you know, that general hangout area, his workshop, or common room.
Where are you at right now?
I think he's in his room.
All right. So she'll go and assault him there.
Like, as he's just leaving it, or is she actually coming to his bedroom?
Probably when he's leaving it.
Mm-hmm. So then, yeah, she can probably catch him coming out. He probably has a couple of, like, he may have just made an in-between trip from the workshop to his room, so, like, she could have seen him passing by and been like, oh, I know where he's going.
Yeah.
So he's coming out, he has, like, a couple, like, pliers and a couple other things, and he's looking down. And as he looks up, is it obvious, like, boom, there's Celeste, or is she just coming
Yeah.
in?
It's
Right,
an
then-
obvious boom, Celeste.
Right, he looks up and he stops and he's just, ah, Celeste.
Ah, Hana.
And then,
How are you doing?
oh, Kip should say anything that he would, like, go around her because he's assuming that she. But no, that she's. I'm doing well enough given circumstances. Yourself.
Peachy, did you want to go past? I actually had a few words for you. We could walk and talk if you want.
Did you now?
Did.
A formal conversation or a small moment of addressing? Have I broken another security rule?
No, you haven't broken any security rules.
I didn't think I did. Very well then. Walk and talk it is.
All right.
He'll start walking.
And Celeste will start off this conversation with a so Hana, for a while now I've been thinking about something that's been bothering me.
Is that so?
It is so.
Thinking's dangerous, you know that.
Well, not everyone is born able to think the right way on Halo now, are we?
No, there's no such thing as thinking the right way. There's just thinking in most ways and coming to a conclusion. But
Well,
yes, I understand what you're saying.
well,
Reaches into his
I've
pocket and pulls out his shoe.
I've certainly come to a conclusion. It's actually thinking about something involving you.
Revolving me.
Yes, and that particular fact that for a while, since forever actually, some of the habits that Varasi has.
He
After
steps
speak
slows a little bit, but he continues.
after speaking with Ram about my very same concerns involving similar issue and also things involving Ram, he suggested I talk to you about it instead because these are your problems.
He stops. I imagine they're mid hallway at this point. He kind of looks at her and he says, "You know, actually, let's turn around. I think this might be a better conversation for the room."
Except the room is a bit paper thin.
And the office is a bit perforated with fin.
And I suppose that leaves one other spot where there is a modicum of privacy, one of the hangars, since the audio recording devices in those don't work.
I don't find that necessary. Is there an issue with this conversation being recorded?
No. I'm just saying that if you want privacy, the hangar's the place to go.
Well, the only people that check the recordings anyway is yourself, Hash, and whoever actually looks at it. So I don't think there should be any issues with this, Celeste.
Which is why I said the audio recording device doesn't work. It's busted.
I understand that. But I don't mind being recorded.
I kind of think you do on this subject.
I have a measly empathy, and I'm going to use it.
Oh, right.
I'm suspicious of Celeste on a good day. This is sus as fuck. One success. Beat me, you coward.
Reroll.
What?
I destroyed you. I got one success. But then I got 4.
Yeah, that's what I was expecting. Okay, so you can't read her. Listen. No, really. Honestly, my room should be perfectly fine for this.
All right, well then I suppose I can ask it straight up here then. Why are you running from Hana? And why do you keep it a secret from everyone? I hear that causes everyone's lives on Verasi to be significantly worse off because we are forced to take jobs which are further away from civilization, not as well paying, forced to take contracts which are not as well paying, and forced to go to stations in which we are so far upselled in everything that we fucking have that we barely scrape by financially. It seems fucking weird.
Who's all around right now?
You thought you punched the sound of you? No, 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 no. You encouraged her. I imagine right now, the cops aren't there. The kids might be in the room though.
Okay.
but I imagine the cops aren't.
Hana will.
This is
Go.
also just. Oh, sorry. Sorry, go on.
Oh no, go ahead. Go ahead.
She goes, this is also just the first of many topics that I feel should be addressed, before, considering I'm assuming so many things.
I see. He casually reaches like over and clicks the code to close the door to the general area.
You can do so. Oh, fuck yeah. Both Hana and Celeste are the same height.
What did you just check?
I just checked to see if there's like a height dynamic between them, but no, they're the same height.
Same height. But I'm not exactly sure where you get that inkling.
I'm not an idiot.
I said no such thing, but in comparison to myself, most people are.
In comparison to yourself, most people aren't also righteous pricks.
Says the Terran.
Says the Terran who is proud of being a Terran.
Mm-hmm. I stand by my point.
Well, I partially explained it already, Hana. There is no reason for any of those things. But I know you and Melver quite close. Hash says as much. I can clearly see it. Anyone on the ship can see you're good friends. Additionally, you can easily see that you actively avoid all sorts of scenarios involving people, and that we always seem to choose the most out-of-way places to stop off. And I can't fathom why we would do that. At all. Forever. Like, every once in a while, sure, makes sense. It's convenient. But it's consistent, Hana. Additionally, it's pretty clear that you keep your secrets. After all, I'm pretty sure that you're a secretive person. People have tried telling me otherwise, but it's hard to sway me when, well, just look at you.
I don't recall having secret written across my forehead.
You might as well.
And your evidence supporting these statements?
I just gave you my list of evidence.
This isn't a list of evidence, it's a list of conjecture.
A list
None of it at
conjecture?
all formally ties it to me, for I do not dictate where the ship goes, which jobs we take, or when we land, or where we land. In fact, I think you'll find my official job descriptor says weapons specialist and nothing more. I don't have the same sway that Amanda does, or even Hash.
Then tell me, Hana, why is it that you're always avoiding not planets. You're always avoiding going onto the more populated stations that you are not familiar with.
Because, Celeste, last time I stepped off to do a quick errand, I was narrowly kidnapped.
You were narrowly kidnapped on a fucking station full of scum and villains. This has been a persistent issue with you since even before then.
Scum and villains, perhaps, but nonetheless, it is a clear issue that halos are a commodity. Halos who have a specialization in weapons manufacturing, more so. I am practicing self preservation.
So people do know your name out there wide enough that there is a reason for you to hide. She
The
says with a
nature
smile.
the nature of my being at all gives some interest to concerning authorities who may be interested. As you said, the scum.
Well, it's a good thing we mostly avoid those sorts of stations, now isn't it?
It is a good thing, isn't it? I'm quite lucky.
It doesn't change the overarching theme that is quite noticeable, that you're hiding from something, hiding from someone, and that you're the only anomaly on board a ship that could cause such a scenario in which our courses are set in the way they're set, our jobs are set the way they're set.
You flatter
While
me.
you may not have the authority to make these decisions, it doesn't exactly stop people making those decisions on your behalf.
Takes a moment. He breathes. Celeste,
Hana,
we just took a high paying job.
a
And I
high-paying
think,
job,
and
which only landed
I,
on our pocket out of circumstance.
no, before that. In fact, our last series of jobs, excluding the one we were forced to take as per raiders, have been rather lucrative. However, it turns out that the more high paying the job, the higher the risk. There are many people who are looking for ancient Terran artifacts, of which, when it comes to scavenging, is the highest grade of pay you can get. We pursued one of these jobs. What did we get for it? Very severe consequences. If our smaller jobs have allowed us to avoid higher consequences, I think that's reasonable to consider why they did it. Additionally, we are contracted work. Some of the places we're sent on isn't decided on ship. It's handed down to us from what was originally Mouse and now is, and I can't remember what the current base is.
Catcher.
Catcher. And
Hana.
I am not a high supervisor on Catcher.
Hana,
Yes.
you said a lot of words, which, while yes, do pertain to the fact that we are contracted to work, it doesn't exactly explain the fact that we choose the contracts to take. It doesn't also change the fact that we have chosen to mostly go by in relatively just scraping by for a good long while now. And despite all of what you're saying being correct, it doesn't change the fact that you are very clearly at odds with something, and I'm under the impression that what those odds are probably are putting people into danger. Otherwise, precautions wouldn't be taken the way they're being taken. Additionally, as such, well, I may not know the specifics of whatever it is, but I know there's something that's involving you. And that something, Hana, the more I think about it, the more concerned I get.
That's something. Can you define, please?
Hana, I think you're either a criminal or you're running from a criminal organization.
I see.
And it's something that I've been keeping mostly to myself for a long while, just because, well, I don't want to cause any friction anywhere. But as time's gone on, well, I'm wondering if maybe keeping it to myself was a wrong course of action. As enough, even if it's situational evidence, does pile up, a pattern begins to form, and as a pattern begins to form, it becomes quite easy to come to conclusions. While yes, you're able to hide all of your actions, well, not even your actions, but situations behind purely logical things, it doesn't change the fact that there's something very illogical about the decisions that Melv makes regarding this ship. There are other jobs which pay better, which are not at all dangerous, which we can take. There is other stations that we have, since my time being here, we have been able to change our home base of operations from, which would be overall a benefit to the entirety of Arasi, which we do not take because they are too populated. At first, I didn't really notice anything because why would I? But as time's gone on, it all makes sense. As such, Hana, I'm under the impression that you're hiding something that a handful of people aboard this ship are in the know of. I don't know all of who they are, but I certainly know it's affecting decision making. And that's only reinforcing my opinions of you, which all of which are quite negative at this time. She smiles. So yes, I'm concerned about a thing that I don't understand, and I would like to understand, because I feel that sooner or later, whatever it is you're hiding is going to rear its ugly head and get a lot of people here hurt. Probably me because I'm on the fucking security team, and I'd rather not get hurt.
Are you done?
For a moment, yeah.
Good. We should go to the airlock.
There's a very like quick moment where there was like an expression of what the fuck are you suggesting? Like there's like a little bit of a smile, like a little bit of like it's not a deranged look, but a look of like, are you threatening me, Hana? But then that quickly goes away as clearly like rationality just takes over, and she's just like, no, he wasn't threatening me. He was just asking to go to a private place.
Mm-hmm.
She's like, all right.
Fantastic. Now, if you don't mind for a moment. He opens the door again just to check the little kitties aren't pressed against it trying to listen.
They are not pressed against it, thankfully.
Good children.
I
Nods.
I, I, I rolled for them.
I had a feeling that they might have tried, so I just wanted to make sure. Um, nods to himself. All right. I'm going to grab a pack of cigarettes to smoke while I'm there. Do you want any?
I don't smoke.
All right. Well, you're dealing with him second hand. He goes, grabs a pack.
I'll just put on my respirator.
Very well.
So yeah, we can just fly
Yeah.
on over to the airlock.
Mm-hmm. Where's that again? Oh, there it is.
So there is 4 airlocks.
So he enters, lights up
She
cigarette,
enters.
smokes.
She puts on her respirator, closes the door.
Right then. Leans against the wall. I believe I may have misjudged you. If there's any good to come from this conversation, though I wouldn't really call it a conversation, as most of it has entailed you talking at me, I've may have pegged you as a threat that wasn't one, or very well could be, but not the extent I thought. You see, Celeste, you're very secretive. There's a lot about you, no one knows. You like to go vanishing. Even now, this could be theoretically a
Ploy.
ploy.
Absolutely, it could be. This is why I think you're a secretive person too, Hana. You think about these things too much.
Well, There's a good reason for that.
I hope so.
So here's what I can give you. Given all the reasons you cited, uh, quite good observations, in fact, things that I didn't even consider. There is a reason I'm out here. The reason I'm not going to give you the specifics of, for the same concerns you cited of me. I do not believe in endangering the crew, and I have no intention to. Furthermore, if I spoke up, I could quite as well endanger myself. So, this is for the best interest of everyone. Staying out of the public eye will do me good overall. Due to my status as, well, he just motions to himself, an intellectual individual with a long history of weapons manufacturing. There are people who want my assistance, people who which I do not want to give it to. I do not believe in violence, and though I do make projectile weapons, I don't believe in them being used in other people.
You don't need to tell me that delusion of yours. Don't
Well,
worry.
I'm prefacing,
All right.
because it's why I'm out here. If I'm off the map, off the grid, if you will, I don't have to worry about being. I can't, out of character, think of the word for it. When someone's trying to convince you of something, trying to bring you on.
Coerced?
We can go with coerced. Being coerced against my will into something, an interest of something larger. I'm free to do as I may here. And what I would like to do is to continue helping the Rossi how I will. I understand that that answer is vague, but you, with your many NDAs, I'm sure can understand that sometimes vague is what is available.
Well, just to make sure I understand. Reason you're staying on the limelight, as you put it, is because there are people out there who know you, who you are, and are actively searching for you.
Most people do not know who I am.
But there is individuals that do.
A very small select few, yes.
Well, then comes the large question. Are these individuals a danger to Varasi or just to you?
So long as you don't know what I'm capable of, just me.
She kind of gets like a, that's kind of cute sort of face when he says, as long as you don't know what I'm capable of, as if, she's like, oh, look at him trying to be all big and scary.
He's completely straight faced right now.
Oh, I imagine he's straight faced when he said, I'm just describing how Celeste is. She's like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, whatever.
However, I am not keen on dying. Just smiles.
I don't think most people are keen on dying, Hana. It's kind of a
Correct.
human trait.
So, just motions. Here I am.
Here you are.
Honestly, there's a good select people you could have just asked.
I did ask, and I was told to ask you.
I appreciate that. It is
Sure you
not.
do.
Most people can pick up on the fact that me being here is abnormal. Me leaving the ship less often, more so.
The entire situation is abnormal, Hana. And the only reason no one else has probably picked up on it is because it requires too much thinking about.
Others have picked up on it. You're not the first.
Oh, I'm sure that others have picked up on it. I just mean the overarching picture of the fact that it's how invasive it's been in our lives.
Well, you're free to pick up another contract once this one expires.
That would mean someone else would have to take care of Hash. And unfortunately, I doubt any of you have the qualifications to do that.
Well, then I suppose, if this is how this ship carries out its duties, that is how it will continue to do so. I can say, and believe me or not if you must, I have done nothing to influence how Melf plots his courses or which jobs he takes. I do not ask him to carry out any different courses of action. Mostly. I've asked for some quiet vacation planets here and there.
Is Hunter
Smokes.
lying?
No,
Okay.
no, he's being honest.
Alright,
He does not manipulate Melv.
Alright. So, press this.
Like, he'll bitch about it,
Yeah.
but he won't be like, please don't do this. Well, okay, small lie. Because he has, when it's, has, like with the Iris one, he was actively trying to get Melv to not take it.
Okay.
But it's not like, I don't think it's malicious lie.
Yeah, so we can, kind of like probably parse that he's not being malicious about it.
Mm-hmm.
But she will say, have you ever heard of a concept of how people can, by accident, form a following?
By passive influence.
By passive influence, yes.
Um,
To be quite honest, I feel that's the sort of situation we've done with some members aboard here on the Rossi.
formed a passive influence by existing.
No, by your demeanor and how you carry yourself, along with your distaste or satisfaction in certain scenarios and outcomes. I would say that you are not actively trying to manipulate people, but in my perspective, it does seem like you are manipulating individuals aboard Rossi, willfully or otherwise. Judging from your statement, I would say it's otherwise, as I don't feel that you are
His eyebrows
actively
knit
trying to
together
do
a bit,
it.
a little bit. I'm sorry, what?
I'm calling you a user. You use people. Whether you do it meanfully or not, you still do it. And I think that's quite dangerous and personally gross. She's keeping her hands like folded together in front of her a moment. Rather than her, crossed arm demeanor.
Define a user.
In this context, it means someone who is influencing others to get outcomes that they most preferably want. To be more specific, in the cases of where your situation has influenced Melv in order to change course from something more logical to illogical to meet your ends. Another example could be, and this isn't her pausing, this is me pausing, as I try to remember the exact scenario. Now she is purposely trying to use ones that don't involve RAM. But all the instances that I can think of off the top of my head involve RAM.
Go
I'm
with
like,
him. Go with him.
Celeste. No. She's trying not to be a jealous bean.
Roll cold. Roll your fucking cold. It's GM Brie time. Do it.
Yembury.
Yeah.
All right, I'll even give her a minus.
Give her super minuses. Come on, bring Ram into this. It'll be fun.
Nah, I got 2 successes. Get dabbed on.
Oh.
Um,
What if I imposed more minuses because I'm Hana and I'm a bitch?
no.
Look at me, bitchy Hana, who slept with both the men you loved.
All right, I'm gonna open the airlock.
Shit. This is why he didn't take her to the airlock in the first place. When she was like, let's go talk about secret things and away from the cameras, he was like, I don't think so.
That's why she said the Hainer, because she's like, the Hainer has a fucking camera. It just doesn't have audio.
Still was sus as fuck.
Yes, Han, I'm going to open up the Hainer and have all of the oxygen sucked down to the entirety of the ship. Just to kill you. Not the world doesn't revolve around you, Hana. Spits.
No, but my personal well-being does.
Oh. Yep. I got it now.
Okay.
Oh, fuck. I had it, and I lost it. God fucking damn it.
You can do this. Who else have I manipulated? I'll give you names if it'll help.
I'm trying to think of a situation with Rai, because I know he's done a manipulation with Rai, where it wasn't him actively trying to manipulate her. It was just like low-key, like some of Rai's decisions to, in how they treat Hana. Celeste would have noticed that there's a little bit of a weirdness there, where due to how Hana interacts with Rai, it has directly impacted how Rai treats Hana. And even though, it's like the Gert from Rai, there's also that like low-key undertone of something kind of icky, because Hana is trying to get something out of Rai, but not actively being a malicious prick about it. It's why it's hard to come up with how to describe them, because Hana's not being malicious. He's not even doing anything on purpose. It's not even an icky thing. It's just Celeste views it as an icky
Yeah,
thing.
yeah.
Because of how
How's
Celeste is.
she looking at it to see how it's icky, and then that'll be the thing she cites, right? So
Yeah.
maybe it's how he purposely refers to Rai by gun, or when he knows that she doesn't like it, or I don't know, something to do with Finn. I'm sure there's plenty she can find with Finn, right?
It's a fact that she doesn't. So while I can pinpoint a lot of things, she doesn't stalk Hana and Finn's interactions. She's not a weirdo like fucking Charlie. So
Well,
she wouldn't
she watches
know.
cameras though, right?
But there's not a lot of cameras on board. There's like literally 5 on the entire Rossi.
Oh, I
So
didn't know that.
so she doesn't know a lot. She just hears things every once in a while about it.
Mm-hmm.
But like,
She probably. I mean, is it a secret that Hana took Finn's V card?
I don't think it is. You know what? I got it. And so she'll say, how you emotionally manipulate multiple individuals upon Verasi. Rai being paramount amongst them. You might not do it maliciously, but I think you're intelligent enough to know how your actions can affect others, and that it always seems that your manipulations always result in a net benefit for you. Sometimes they work out for both parties, but more times than not, it seems to mostly benefit you. Case in point is a lot of your interactions with Rai.
What?
You have a very unusual relationship with Rai. And I think the only reason you actually have a relationship there is a mutual Rai being just too nice to tell you to fuck off, and you getting them invested in yourself through your various interactions. From your name
I'm
calling to your how you
manipulative because I've made Rai like me.
If that's what you're taking from what I said, there's a larger problem at play, and I pegged you wrong that you are actively a manipulator and not just accidentally stumbling around and doing it.
I am trying to understand the points you are making here.
The point I am making is that you seem to fuck how to word that. Your interactions with people are generally one-sided. I understand that as a Halo, things are a little bit. You don't see things like everyone else does. But from what I've viewed, and I can just say I don't have a full picture because I don't go around watching people all day. That's weird. But what I have seen, it's very much one-sided, and more times than not, you seem to benefit from your one-sided relationships more so than the other person. It doesn't act or feel like a friendship, it feels like something gross.
Ah, I see. I think perhaps this is the misconception.
Is it?
Yes, I believe so. For
Then
one,
please
it
explain.
makes good sense that you haven't seen a large variety of my interactions, as to be completely honest with you, Celeste, I avoid you vehemently.
Yes, I understand. It's why I'm fully admitting that maybe I don't have a full picture.
Yes. What you are witnessing, for the most part, is either a form of, mm, I would say, mutualism, or in some cases, if we're defining it in this sense, symbiosis, in which both parties benefit, or while one party doesn't explicitly benefit and the other does, there is still overall a positive resource. I do not have friends aboard the Rousey. I have two, because I was backed into a corner and they wanted that term. But overall, I do not refer to it as such. The relationships I carry here are based upon respect and care for other individuals, of which I do respect and care for, I attempt to reciprocate to my ability. What I cannot reciprocate emotionally, I can through acts of service, uh, time, or other manners. For example, if it is true that the captain takes certain jobs due to my presence and goes to certain vacation planets, which by the way would save money due to my presence, then I, in return, aid by being on the ship and providing my expertise when it comes to repairing uh, cogs, the ship, upgrading weapons, or even blueprinting new ones, as well as providing a wide array of historical and obscure knowledge for those who do not have it. I am also serving as a tutor to what was originally one to now both of the children on board. So I contribute to this ecosystem. For my relationships interpersonally, I do not take advantage of others. That he'll just say, I do not take advantage of others that I care about.
she very much looks like she doesn't believe it, and she's rolling to see if you're being a lying piece of shit.
Go for it.
Because as she sees it, you're being a lying piece of shit.
He's not hiding anything, so you don't got to
6
roll.
successes. That's
He's
what I
being
got.
honest. He does not actively
Ah, no.
manipulate
He's
people
delusional.
that he's close to. He will acknowledge that, like, he fucks with people and, like, he has his own fun.
Oh no, he's delusional is
But
how Celeste copes.
but overall, even with her crit success, I think she can get the fact that he's saying he contributes back to what he's capable of as him telling the truth as well.
Yeah, so the first part, she's not doubting him as he
Hmm.
views it that way. It's just the second part of, I don't manipulate people. She's just like,
Well, no, he doesn't manipulate people he cares about.
yeah, well, yeah. She's just
Very
like,
important distinction. He will not lie about. There are some people that he doesn't give a shit about. Will he manipulate them? Oh, sure.
all right,
Five.
I'm gonna roll another cold for the ram topic.
Do it, do it, do it, do it, do it, do it,
Let's
do it.
see, Celeste. Are you
Come
a
on,
bitch?
Celeste.
You're not a
Come on,
bitch.
Celeste.
You're not a bitch yet.
Ah, oh, come on. And
You're really wanting that.
I think it'd be very fun. Um, he adjusts his glasses. He says, "For what negative influence I may bring to conversations or interpersonal relationships, or if we're going with this, continuing this social ecosystem, if you will, I counteract with positive traits or attempts at such. I will not deny that I am not perfect. I have been told on multiple occasions that my ability to emotionally connect with others is lacking, and context clues can be difficult to read. That said, I
She
do make a
suppresses.
gen.
She suppresses a statement about that.
I will. Here, don't worry, let me help you. I got 2 success empathy.
Um, I'll say you'll be able to like just get that. She's like, that's a bit of an understatement, sort of like vibe from her.
It says, but I am making an active attempt to counteract this, and I believe I am making some headway. I must say, I apologize. Go ahead. I will complete my point afterwards.
Oh no, I thought you were done. Dude, please go on.
No worries. I simply needed to breathe. I will say that I do not agree with what you are saying. I do not find my relationships to be using. Had they been given nothing in return, perhaps. But should they give me a product in one sense, I am not required to give it in the same sense back. Symbiosis can exist in which the product that is produced on one side differs from the product of the other. If that makes sense.
That
Thoughts?
does sound like a unbalanced relationship.
An unbalanced relationship?
Yes, whereas one person's putting more effort than another. Where one person gains more from it than another. it leaves at times, power dynamic, which begins to make it toxic. That then begins to make it, as I view it, a using relationship. I certainly believe that you believe everything you're saying, Anna. I'm just here thinking that it's convenient that everything is give and take, and that it's convenient that it doesn't all need to add up to be the same value.
You cannot quantify a value to interactions. That's why most people who study sociology get a very hard break, and psychology isn't far behind. Minds work differently. What is valued to you is not the same as what is valued to me. When I said that the products are different on each side, I did not say they were uneven, just that they were different. I think you may find the net satisfaction could be found. Now, I won't say that it is. The issue with you not coming to me with concrete scientific findings here, or if you had a written statement by Rai, perhaps stating I dislike Hana, or evidence provided that she believes so and she's humoring me, and you provided that, I could believe that it is perhaps not completely even. But even then, it is their ability to simply not speak to me. I do not require their attention to exist. I am not, they are not the sun of which casts upon me if I were a flower. I don't require them to photosynthesize. I will continue to do as I do, as mandated for my job on the Rossi. They do not need to complete a transaction with me. And I don't think that I make it seem like they do. Do you have evidence concerning the thoughts of Rye?
No, I do not, because I did not elect to go and talk to Rai, who is currently being held captive by some unsavory individuals.
Is kind of
Nor is every sorry, go on, because you were describing something.
there's kind of a he has a micro expression at that. There's kind of a small. Honestly, I could roll, but I don't think he's hiding emotions very much. It's a little bit of a wince, a little bit of a that's a sore subject.
Ooh, yeah, I know, right? Um, and she continues and says, nor does everything involve science and hard statistics and facts at all times and junctures. If everything was decided by that, I'm sure the universe would be a far less pleasant place to be. Mostly because I doubt any of us would be around.
I would disagree.
The logical conclusion is that we are wasteful, and as such we should be replaced. She does like a jazz hand.
Hmm.
Like
Everyone has their function, everyone has their use. How that is expressed is different depending on individual to individual. My talents will be different from yours, will be different from Mendy's.
Mindy's.
It, I know.
She gestures for him to go on.
Just a sidebar at that. But I believe we're getting off topic. I asked because I believe you're falling into a pitfall that is the very reason I avoid calling anyone my friend. You don't know the emotions of others unless they tell you. Correct?
Yeah, not like I can read people's thoughts or anything. She
Hmm.
says with a tight-lipped smile, and just like, that would be kind of crazy, sort of expression.
I'm gonna roll to see if he even catches on. Nope. Uh,
Look at those 5 5s.
unfazed. He doesn't even notice. Um, oh, did Ram tell Hana she knows? Okay, cool. Well, he's still continuing then, because that doesn't change the conversation. It's just, okay, she knows. Be sassy
Oh,
about it all you want.
no. She, she's not even like hinting at that thing. She's just like, yeah, I don't know. I can't
Mm-hmm.
do that.
Mm-hmm.
Life isn't that fucking easy, Hana.
Yeah. And he says, as such, I believe it is dependent on both parties of a interpersonal relationship to be open and vocal about where they stand, their issues, etc. I believe should establish a relative power dynamic that is generally equal. And should it
So,
not, should there be a, as you say, power dynamic, and
for
it
another
is
roll.
Hmm?
I said time for another roll.
Oh, should
Oh,
there
for
be a power dynamic and it is unequal, acknowledgement of its existence staves off through active choice its use.
And what happens when neither side notices the power dynamic issue, either out of ignorance or choosing to ignore it?
Well, they shouldn't ignore it. It's that easy.
If only everyone saw things that way.
Do you have a specific example for this?
I do, but I think it'd be for the best if I didn't mention it.
No, no, it'll help me understand. Yeah, I'm assuming this is concerning me, so.
To an extent, yes, but at the same time, it's like you said, it may be my own personal biases getting involved.
Perhaps so. Allow me to debunk your personal biases. Continue.
Your relationship with Ram seems to have a major power dynamic favoring you.
I see. What creates the power dynamic in this situation?
Hana is like, I smell information indeed.
He did. It was just like, you think, bitch, you think you're gonna hurt my feelings? Go. I want to know.
In regards to how committed Ram is towards this relationship that you two have, to the point where, from an outsider's perspective, it appears one way, and even at times gross, to the point where it seems, well, it's obvious you don't have the same affection because you may not be capable of expressing those emotions. But it is more so a fact that on Ram's end, it seems they are willing to do all sorts of things for you. Most of those things you probably wouldn't even know about. Or perhaps you discuss those things and you're very well aware of the situation. Again, I don't go on my way to poke my nose where it's not needed, so I don't know the exact dynamics. But from what I've witnessed and observed, and, well, more importantly, people's words and actions, it would appear to me that if Ram were to die right now, you would be upset and move on in a short while. If you were to die, Ram would unlikely be able to move on and would thus be devastated. To the extent where they might, well, who knows what they could do. That kind of difference in attachment is frankly sickening. And to me, it appears that you either don't know about it, or you willfully ignore it. Which, if it's the latter, is sickening.
There
She
is a
says,
third option.
and what's that option?
We have discussed this.
So you are willfully accepting the fact that there is a major power dynamic between the two of you?
I wouldn't necessarily call it a major power dynamic. In fact, through traditional views of how one would see a power dynamic, the only thing that gives me a power dynamic above him, well, two things. I have seniority on the ship, and physically I'm older. That's it. I suppose you could count intelligence if you want to add a third. But aside from that, if we're counting dynamics, he is physically stronger than me. He's larger than me. He could take advantage if he wanted, but he does not.
You seem to be purposely avoiding the main subject of what I was saying and attacking my misuse of a word, power dynamic, as that's the best word I know to describe the situation. I'm sure you know of a word which would better suit it, but you are, well, willfully choosing to ignore everything I said to attack a phrase of words.
I am, as I said I would, systematically debunking. I'm going through piece by piece. I will get to the later bits. The word you're
This
looking for, once again, is symbiosis.
maybe parasitism would be a better
No.
fit if we're looking at it from that sort of perspective.
No, because we are both benefiting from this relationship, and I am not hurting him, nor is he hurting me. In our relationship,
There's a very quiet from her when Hana says, "I am not hurting him." There's a
mhm,
very quiet.
would you disagree?
You're the one that speaks to him, so you probably already know.
Raises a brow.
She just smiles.
There are many things to be known, so I couldn't say.
And as I said, I'm sure you already know. Because, as I see it, there is certainly hurt in that relationship you have. Might not be readily apparent to you, but it certainly seems to be there. Where? Where? Where?
There have
Where?
been missteps, of that I will acknowledge. On both ends. However, we talked it out. Those missteps specifically being a contrast between his outlook towards violence, carrying out said violence, and motivations concerning it, and my personal morals as dictated by my society and upbringing, of which I strictly adhere to. He
She
shot a man, Celeste. He shot a man on this ship.
that he did.
It disturbed me, and so I took time from it. Yes, he did not take terribly well to it, but I didn't
Well,
take terribly well to him shooting someone.
it's a
If
good
this is what
thing.
we're referring to,
It's a good thing I'm not referring to that.
then I have no idea what you're talking about.
Well, she takes a moment to kind of consider how to best describe what she's noticed to Hana in a way that he may understand it. And so she settles for maybe trying to just be blunt with it. There's not a lot of high hopes here, but she can try, which is going back to the symbiosis, as you call it, or parasite, as I call it. Ram is so highly invested in you that it isn't healthy because you do not return the same amount of investment in him. It doesn't matter that you show your gratitude in other ways, because, as it is readily apparent, for one reason or another, he is more committed to you than you can ever be to him. That is no fault of yours. That lies with him. That in itself is unhealthy. That is the largest problem, and why I say there's a power dynamic that favors you, because you don't need to put in the same amount of commitment as Rama does, because Ram is fully committed and will be no matter what. The whys of he will be beyond me, not my place to know or truly understand, but yet it is there regardless.
My question concerning this, not to cut you off,
No, no,
is
all right. I would have just started rambling.
what of this has to do with me? You see, and allow me to elaborate, because on the outside, that seems like a silly question, doesn't it? I am just as involved in that relationship as he is. But no, the question I have regarding it is how is Ram choosing to put more effort than, as apparently stated, I do, my fault?
The fact that you benefit off of it, which is where my prospect of you being a user comes from.
I see.
You willfully, and even in this, that statement is enough to see that any further topics of this conversation will most likely not go anywhere, as you don't see you're doing anything wrong, and nothing I can or will say, even if I had all of the factual evidence on my side, can do anything, because you have him so whipped that he doesn't see the problem with it. And you'd even have to do anything. That's probably the saddest part. And
Correct
I
me. Oh, good.
I will say, in this moment, Hana's starting to hear a little bit of venom in her voice. Just enough where even Hana should be able to be like, "Ooh, this is, ooh,
I have rolled. He's keeping his cool.
very good, very good."
He says, It's true. Ram has confessed his affections toward me quite readily. Affection being the understatement. Here, to put it blunt, he has stated he is in love with me. I have not stated that in return to him because I am not. We are both aware of this fact. We have discussed this fact.
It doesn't change the fact that that still remains an issue.
How is it
It
an
doesn't.
issue if he has full choice to leave and I am not, let me finish, please. I am not taking control or abusing that, if you'll call it the power dynamic, as I maybe perhaps could have, sure, in my situation. And if someone wanted to, they could manipulate him to do something because he cares for me. Just as you say, I could manipulate Melv or Amanda or many people on this ship to do something for me because they care about me. But the matter of the fact, Celeste, is I'm not. Because I don't believe in hurting other people. That goes for more than just physically. If I care about someone, I'm going to try to better them and help them. And that situation applies to.
Have you considered that it's not helping him by enabling this, whatever it is?
This mutual affection of
Oh,
which allows him to get social interaction,
a mutual
comfort.
affection, you are now calling it, despite us both knowing it is certainly not mutual.
It is. I do show him affection and have affection for him. I do not love him, but I show him affection, and I do mean it when I do.
To get
Do, do you not have
onto
affection
something,
towards
or
others? And is it not
get onto
beneficial?
to get onto something that might be able to have you understand. There's a
Celeste, I
difference.
think I'd like to get onto a topic for you to understand, if I may. And he pushes off the wall.
She keeps her hands just still folded in front
Mhm.
of her, and like just in that position.
I believe there is a component here that I am not quite privy to. Whatever it be, honestly, I don't care. But I stand by what I said and prefaced in the beginning of this conversation. Ram is benefiting. He's gaining intimacy and affection and comfort and an ear to talk to when he needs it.
And since your relationship has started, he has started to, from what I've noticed, be troubled. It may not be connected, of course, but that is the only thing that I can possibly see that makes sense. The fact that he is so fully committed to this relationship and is acknowledging the fact that you are not and probably will never be seems to only be fueling that issue.
You think that he is terribly troubled
I
by
am
the fact he will
thinking
never keep me as his own.
I am thinking he is terribly troubled by some other problem that he has and he's using you as a crutch
Hmm.
rather than him actually addressing his fucking problems. And I think that you continue to enable him, not out of malice, but because you're getting something out of it. Because you're well aware that you will not recuperate all of his feelings, because you've discussed that at length, just as you try to justify your actions by saying he can leave at any point. It's just like how at any point a homeless man can, you know, get himself a home. He can go to a shelter. But the fact remains that most people who fall into that level of poverty can't, because their lives have been so thoroughly destroyed that they have only one option available to them. But since that analogy might not be good enough, the better one would be something that I'm sure you might be able to better understand. Considering we recently had that exact situation occur here on Varasi. Ram didn't need to pull the trigger. He had every choice. And yet we all know what would have happened if Ram didn't pull the trigger. Many more would have died. Yes, he had a choice, but in reality he didn't. It seems to me that this is another one of those situations. We can say he has a choice, but to me it doesn't look like he does, because there's some additional factor that I'm not aware of, and as this conversation goes on, I don't even think you're aware of. Ram certainly seems to know. He just doesn't want to discuss it with anyone. I had hoped that maybe he discussed it with you, but it seems like that hope was misplaced.
Celeste?
Yes?
Far be it from me to discuss emotions with you.
Yes, we are both quite fucking emotionally stunted.
But when I can tell that you are not reading the room more than you can, I think there is a place for concern. Ram, like all of us, has been through a long line of stressors recently. We have been under a terrorist attack. We just had to deal with that. He doesn't have the moral baggage as many of us do. But the Morrigan's presence greatly stressed him because he was concerned for the persons on the ship. Because the Morrigan is a fucking dangerous raider ship. This would explain why he was stressed several months ago. Leading up to now, he is very stressed because it is under threat. And no matter what happens, he is going to be losing something.
I think you missed the point where I said this downward spiral of his has been going on for quite some time. It's, of course, gotten worse with the constant situations. But it doesn't change the fact that it's been getting considerably worse, and it started a long time ago.
Well, then you're misplaced because Ram and I, specifically Ram, did not discover the presence of feelings until the Morrigan. And before that, there was nothing between us. He simply kept me company while I had anxiety. Because of the physical intimacy, it helped calm my anxiety, and it helped him sleep too, because the man's an insomniac. Whatever problem,
That's the wrong one. I didn't go back far enough. There we
no
go.
worries, whatever problem he had before me, well, just that, he had before me.
She kind of just shakes her head and she says,
Is there anyone else you'd like to discuss in detail?
"Oh no, I'm quite done with this conversation. Just do take in mind the fact that Ram is deteriorating. Well, I certainly think you're the cause of it. If you do at all care about him, maybe you should find a way to tactfully talk to him about it. Not right now, of course, because he'll fucking blame me for it. But
Well, Celeste, that's an
someday.
unfortunate thing, because I will be talking about it, and I thank you for bringing it up to me. Should there be a power dynamic I'm not aware of, I'd like to address it.
Well, hopefully you're able to address whatever problem there is, as there certainly is one or more with him.
Right. Unfortunately, I'm not his therapist.
Unfortunately, I don't think Ram cares for any of that, as talking doesn't work for him apparently, which is probably bullshit.
Did he say that to you?
Yes, and I know it's most likely bullshit considering I know very well you two talk a lot.
We do.
Thin walls and all of that.
Ah, you listening?
Well, when it's the middle of the fucking night and you're trying to sleep, and your bunk is actually quite nearby, it's not so much you're trying to listen in, you just happen to hear it.
I see. 1 second. I'm gonna do a shitty empathy.
Shitty empathy. Oh my god, 2 successes.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Celeste, she's getting bad cold rolls, so I'll say that. There's definitely emotion there. She is. You can probably tell she's upset, annoyed, pretty angry with Hana, but also kind of a thing of the anger might not just be directed at Hana. It's kind of hard to tell with that. And it's also just there is genuine concern there for Ram.
Mm-hmm.
Like she is genuinely concerned about him, and she definitely thinks Hana is to be blamed for like all of his woes,
Mm-hmm.
but she is still concerned, and she still wants. Well, no, I can't give you all of that just
No, with
because
just two
Yeah,
successes.
with 2 successes and it's Hana.
Mm-hmm. So
But yeah,
his
so there is genuine concern.
this line of conversation has just seemed to perturb you more than the previous discussions of my possible influence on the ship and its trajectory. May I inquire why?
Didn't Ram tell you?
That you know about his powers?
There's a very like uptick in breath. Um,
That you two had sexual
before
relations?
before she answers that, Ram, did Ram tell Celeste that Hana knew?
Um, I mean, he tried, and I actually said that out loud in the RP, but you and Jordan both swept over it real fast, and I don't think you actually heard it. So he did, but she
Okay.
didn't hear.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a very like sharp intake of air of like, for fuck's sake, Ram, followed by a no, the fact that, like how Ram confessed to you, I confessed to Ram, and as such, talking about Ram is a sore subject for me, especially in the case where I'm concerned about his well being. It's why I said at the preface of this entire fucking conversation that I am sure there's personal bias at play, because there must be. But it doesn't
Yes.
change the fact that there's something wrong. He is actively avoiding that problem. And everything I can tell shows that he's using you as a means of avoidance. So yes, Hana, that's why I'm a little bit more flustered than in the other conversation, because even if you were some sort of war criminal, fucking asshole extraordinaire, or who knows, a fucking estranged billionaire from fucking
I
Halo,
wish.
it wouldn't matter the fact that, end of the day, you could be putting us at danger, but I didn't have any hard evidence to state that you were putting the entire ship in danger, just the inkling that you were probably involved in something that would get people hurt if something came of it.
I see.
Which we were able to discuss and find out that yes, there is people looking for you, but no, it's not nearly as bad as I was thinking it was going to be. Unless you are actually a war criminal or something.
I am. Didn't
She's
expect
quiet.
that one, did you? He smiles.
She's actually just like, how do I respond to that before she says, well, there's many different kinds of war criminals. Are you wanted for genocide? Or something much smaller like tax fraud?
Somewhere between genocide and tax fraud.
All right. So I'll have to rephrase. It's not like you're a despot then.
Did you say a death spot?
Uh, Despot. So like that's another word for a tyrant.
No. I am no tyrant.
Precisely. So not nearly as much of a reason for me to be incredibly concerned or invested in the conversation. I was still quite invested because of the fact that it is causing problems for Rossi. Manageable, but still problems.
I assure you, the problems we would have had the precautions that are apparently made not been made would be significantly worse. Not for the Rashi, specifically for me, but
Which is why I am far less concerned because you're more invested in your own survival.
I very much would like to live, yes. However, getting to what we were previously talking about, I would like to address what is it that Ram is apparently hiding, or what is your theories on this?
My theory is that Ram has a codependency issue, and
Codependency.
yes, he requires someone to be that he must be dependent on as some sort of coping mechanism. Freya, he is dependent on, and I think you is who he's now dependent on.
I see.
There's probably
Anything
more.
else?
Well, there's probably a reason why he has this issue, and that issue is probably quite large, and I have no idea what that could be. And if he's not dependent on you, but he's using it as a means to counteract the fact that he doesn't have Freya anymore. And the fact that he's going to be losing Freya is going to hurt him very much. And it might even be irreversible.
All
So
right.
yeah, I'm very concerned about him.
Understandably. Well then, when's a good time? We can talk to him together.
I don't think him talking to me is at all going to be very helpful for next, I don't know, a week or so.
Well then we can wait a week. He could probably use that anyway. It gives him time to cool.
And why do you think we should both talk to Ram at the same time?
Point and counterpoint. You have an opinion. I have a separate one, however, if we meet in the middle, we may be able to find a similar place. Have everyone on the same understanding and clear this up.
She's going to see if you have any ulterior motive because she thinks you're a piece of shit. Are you being a piece of shit?
He's not
She
being a
got,
piece of shit,
got
Captain.
6 successes.
You can tell with your empathy, he genuinely is incapable of understanding in your mind. And even as you're like, I loved Ram, that's why this hurts. Hana did not relate whatsoever.
Oh, yeah, that's
Like,
not something where she's more like trying to figure out if
oh,
like
no, I know. I'm giving that as like a
okay.
perspective of like he's looking at this like your mind is an enigma to me. And you can tell he has memorized every point you have brought, and with those things, that mental checklist he just brought up, he is planning to bring up to Ram so that they can discuss it, so that he can help you figure out what the fuck is wrong with Ram, so Ram can handle his shit.
So I guess the question is there what she's looking for in particular is she does he want to find a means to help Ram? Like, is he invested in the idea that there might be something wrong with Ram?
Yes,
Okay,
100%. He's also
all right. So
interested
Celeste
in finding, like, he's very,
up the shirt for that.
she can find that his interest in Celeste as a person is very and like finding resolution with her is kind of like but it's also like, if I can solve this problem, I will. Like it's very much he's actually taking your words and listening to them and trying to like, okay, well I can't see it, but I'll
All
try
right,
and do
so
something.
she managed to pass her cult again and not just be like, you fucking disgusting goddamn fucking Halo. Um, because she has her view of Hana, and this is kind of goes against her idea of Hana.
Hmm.
So she has to come to terms with that. And she says, very well. After, I guess, a week or so, not including shock travel, we can try to discuss it together. Would you like to, at some point, discuss in more finer detail after I've had some time to?
Cool off.
Yes.
That'd be perfectly fine. I
Very
can
good.
also bring these topics up ahead of time to
You
ready
can
him for the conversation if you'd like. Otherwise, if you'd like it to be raw, I can. However, I will let him know of the meeting time.
you can handle it however you want, Hana. However, I think it'd be best for me to leave the airlock before I get any silly ideas. Mostly involving punching you, but
I would just like that. You know my
yes,
views on violence.
it's why I'm suggesting that I take a break.
Greatly appreciated. Do as you must.
Didn't need your permission, and she walks out.
He says he's just like, thank you for not being a Terran spy.
I might still be.
I don't think so. Stands there in the airlock for a bit, finishes his cigarette, puts it out. Well, that went well.
God, Hannah, no!
Finally, maybe together for the power of Celeste being a fucking like schizo and Hana being a Halo and AKA autistic, they can start. They can save Ram.
The power of autism.
I have the power of God and autism on my side.
So it's like Captain Planet, but instead it's Celeste goes, the power of schizophrenia. Hana goes, the power of autism. Rai says, the power of crippling depression. Mindy says, the power of not giving a fuck. And Trent says, the power of friendship. And then
Thank you,
they're
Trent,
all
for
able,
bringing friendship.
and together they create Captain Problems Man, who will help Ram.
You forgot the power of religion in Lord.
Um, the power of schizophrenia doesn't work with religion because they both fall underneath the same power.
Ooh, that's spicy.
Says the guy who's a fucking Christian.
Ooh.
You can make fun of my faith.
Of course we can. Oh, he goes to go straight back. Oh boy, that was intense, you two.
I think it's mostly fucking Hana. I really do enjoy the
Hannah's
fact
so,
that
so
like
incredibly scientific, it's hilarious.
Hana's intelligence really fucking infuriates fucking Celestine because she understands his concepts, but she's just like, you can't just dissuade my fucking arguments because I misuse a fucking word because I don't read the dictionary like you do, you fucking weirdo.
It's
Yeah,
so
she's like,
funny.
here. It's literally like it's literally the pathos versus logos argument where she's like, I'm coming at you with emotion. He's like, that's nice, but let me tell you about why that word you used is wrong. Please define this so I can rebuttal it. Thank you.
Yeah, so it's why she was like, I'm sure you understand what I'm actually meaning here. But
he
yeah, no,
does.
she's
He doesn't. That's why he asks her to define.
oh, but she he's just being an asshole all the time.
I know. It's Celeste, you don't understand. Through the power of autism, I can't.
Celeste, really, I'm just autistic. Please stop bullying me.
Boo if you must, but I'm not wrong.
Celeste cocksgun.
I detest violence.
So there's like, if Celeste almost was just like, Hana takes out gun. I have the opportunity to shoot you right now. Points gun right at Hana. However, if I shoot you, Hana, there's all sorts of legal repercussions involved. Thus, I have no decision here. The only logical course is to not shoot you. Puts gun away. There is no choice, Hana.
Hana, make 1 second, just theoretical. Let me roll a cold. Barely makes his cold, just like, yes, the shaking has begun, but I hold myself together. It's just like, Celeste, if you shoot me, who's going to take care of that?
Ooh!
And then she pulls the trigger.
Oh, you're so
Not at Hana. Not at Hana, but at the airlock door.
Kill them both at the same time.
I don't want to live in a world where I am this upset right now at a fucking Halo.
I'm this upset right now.
Hana upsets Celeste for no good reason because she has all of these misconstrued notions of him.
I'm so sorry that a lot of that RP was Hana just going on and on and on.
No,
It was really
it makes sense.
Mhm.
Like, personally, I enjoyed it because, A, you are directly confronting Celestine's opinions.
You found
On
the rebuttals
Hana.
around, couldn't?
Yeah. Well, also, to be honest, we all know Ram's hiding something.
Yeah.
And Celeste, even without all of this, she still thinks Hana's a fucking user, but not as much as she did before.
Oh,
Because she's
hey, that's an improvement.
Yep, she's also now willing to like understand the fact that, you know, Hana isn't some like evil mastermind.
Because
she's-
he was like, hey, let's go talk to Ram.
That plus a few other things, and like also just like with the entirety of the Rossi situation,
Mhm.
like she is still concerned TM, but he discussed it enough and in such a way that she understands where he's coming from, and is of the mind where she's like, okay, I don't really need to worry about this. It's something to be aware of, but not something I need to worry about.
Mm-hmm.
Because like she didn't mention the fact that like a part of her job as security is also to make sure that bad things TM don't happen to Hana, Rai, or Lorne in specific.
Really?
Yep.
Interesting.
That was stuff given to her from ya boy Melv, because they're deemed the most non-combatant individuals at the time. That
Most closest to civilian.
most closest to civilian at the time, but that rule has since changed to basically just Hana and Mindy are the two people that she has to worry about.
Lauren is
And
gunslinger.
Lauren is capable of handling herself.
Oh yeah.
They're like, you have to protect the Arbiter. Battle comes out, and the great stream will bless my bullets.
Alright, I guess she's fine.
Have you ever seen someone shoot 2 AK-47s at once? Let me demonstrate. Holds one with her hands and with her feet.
I like to imagine that she just like lays down in the crescent,
Mhm.
pulls triggers, and then just starts spinning in circles.
Yeah, she's like a battle top.
She really is.
Lauren is a Beyblade.
It reminds me when we Reminds me of that as kids when we used to put razor blades on Beyblades.
Mm-hmm. What's it
Oh my
called?
God.
Chat? 1 second.
But yeah, good RP.
Mm-hmm.
Celeste was forced to reconcile with some shit, so huzzah,
Yeah.
character growth for her.
This was a great RP to have too, because the reason Hana didn't talk with her is because he's just like, she's like, haha, I'm a spy sent to watch Hana, and Hana's like, I don't like that.
Mm-hmm.
The
Yeah.
funniest thing
So
about it is the reason why whenever people like rolled on her and we got it, like it's a half truth, because yeah, she was sent to watch Hana by Melv.
mhm. But the matter of the fact is, with the questions she asked and how she was wording everything, it was very clear she had no idea anything about him. And he was just like, this is fantastic news.
I am now a happy Hana. This is fine.
And he's like, oh, so I don't have to worry about you turning me into the nearest corporation. Fantastic.
Oh,
Yeah, people are out to look at me. You look for me. You're like the fifth person to learn. It's not exactly a well hidden secret.
Nope.
The war criminal thing, though, welcome to the trio. I can tell you because you could say it and no one would fucking believe you.
Yep. No one will ever believe you're evil.
the, the thing with her, she has a pretty good idea what kind of war criminal he is,
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
and as such, she doesn't really care.
Yeah.
Because she is just like, all right, he's a Halo weapon specialist. He probably developed a weapon that was used to commit war crimes, thus making him a war criminal by association.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's like, I highly doubt that he participated in interrogating prisoners and shit.
Wouldn't that be a huge Pikachu, like, surprise Pikachu face? I was actually the primary torturer.
I think there was enough of a surprise Pikachu face, which when you were like, when Hana leaned back, was like, yes, actually.
It was just like a shocked silence from Celeste's side. It was so funny.
Sometimes you need to take the power move when it's there.
And you did, and it was beautiful.
One sec, I need to draw that.
Well, actually, wait though, because him actually canonically being a war criminal is not common knowledge.
No. I'll draw that, and then I'll just post it for chance here.
Okay.
Very good.
By the way, Brie, how much life do you have in you?
I'm good. I don't have to be in class until 1 o'clock tomorrow.
Nice.
Be back 1 second.
Okay, be free.
Do you have more RPS that you intended to do, or just
If-
you and me?